booty shorts.
Do we have sound up as well? That's an important part. Yay!
Yeah.
It's Phoenix Dawn Command here on Saving Throw Show. I am Sax Carr, the marshal of today's game. This is the game that you may have heard about or been reading about, in which you level up by dying. There are no dice and there are no character sheets per se. We're super happy if you're tuning in after watching the previous 2 weeks. We want to continue telling this story to everyone. If you're a new watcher, or especially if you're someone here trying to, read up on it, if you will, before Keith Baker comes and runs the game next week, we're happy to have you as well. And I will say before I forget that remember that you can always play with, you can play along with us essentially here on Saving Throw Show by making donations or spending your XP which you earn in the chat room. For this show you can give these wonderful players free draws, or you can add environmental objects. All that is explained on the website, or Sam Proof, who's in the ones and twos, can tell you. But before we go, we have for the first time in this game's history, we have guests.
Woo.
Yay!
Wow.
And because they're the first two guests, and there are 6 schools of Phoenix. And any Phoenix wing has all 6. Although I think technically, I'm not so sure if it's supposed to be 4 or 6. You only ever play with 4 players, but there's only ever 6 schools. So for the purposes of our game, because of how we sort of interchange players, I decided that all 6 are represented in this wing, but only 4 ever go on a mission. So you've met, Idalia and Varya and Ink and Eerie, the 4 that have been on the last 2 missions, and now the 2 remaining members of the wing are joining them in their trip back to Pyre, and then they'll be sort of sectioned off and sent back out on various missions. So we're going to get a chance to meet the 2 remaining members of the wing today, which are we're going to go on this side, which are Teline. Well, this is the person Teline. We should probably be clear. This is the person Teline, and Teline, tell us about you and tell us who you're playing.
Hi, I'm Teline. I have a dog, and I'm a comedian here in Los Angeles. I don't know what you wanted me to say, but
that was good.
That covers it.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned you had a dog. We want
No, I
to
think it's very important.
go for the ones most people haven't heard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Real wow them.
Yeah.
Dog owner.
Yeah, dog owner. Real uncommon as far as pets go. And I'm going to be playing a Durant, which is somebody who died in such a way, somebody from the military who died in such a way that, like, it was their lack of toughness that led them to die. So they are now super tough as a compensation.
They're maybe the fighter class, I guess. It's kind of hard. Like all the schools have their fingers in a lot of pies, but the Durant is definitely like sort of has the tactician abilities and the sort of durability abilities, but they also have like the defender characteristics you might imagine from a cleric in 5e. So, and tell us a little bit about Beans. Beans, of course, is his or her.
Her
is her cog, which is not her name. So you were named something other than Beans previous to this.
Previously.
Tell us what Beans looks like and what Beans acts like and.
Okay, so what Beans ferocious death. So Beans is her hair is white and her eyes are white, and all of her clothing is white. And so that's what she looks like.
So you're going to be sneaking around a lot then.
Only in places that are white. If it's colorful,
Sure.
it would stand out.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to do well in snowy regions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Our
that's
next mission's
usually-
in Utah.
Oh boy.
And no one will see me, especially when I close my eyes.
All right, so this is Beans, and then also joining the wing is the wing's elemental, which I might as well get this part out of the head, is like the wizard class, if you will, or basically like they're your Human Torch slash
Blaster.
Yeah, it's your blaster class, and being played by the wonderful Shawn Graham. Tell us who you are and and tell us about Kelvin.
I am the person Shawn Graham, and I am playing the elemental Kelvin. Kelvin is a very unremarkable looking man with very short brown hair, similar to my own, but maybe a little shorter. He's got a large broadsword that he carries around with him. He wears armor like you would see a fighter wearing, not like plate armor, but like studded leather armor and your soldier's boots. Looks like a very standard issue soldier, and speaks a little more clipped than I do. Maybe not as much trailing off. But yeah, that's Kelvin.
All right. So let me get one more little thing here. So we're going to be spending a little time. We've actually done a pretty good job of visiting different parts of the world, and we're going to be visiting with the Windiri today, which are these sort of seafaring peoples. And so as we last left our campaign, the 4 members of the Reborn Wing that we were following were on a mission to the capital to retrieve an individual and bring him back to Pyre for use in the war against the Dread, only to find out that he was held up in a big sort of fortress apartment block, if you will, along with the Chanters, which are the Chanter mobs, are like the big scary manifestation of the Dread, in that they show up without warning, and it's infectious, and it makes people into Chanters, and they basically become sort of fast zombies who are all chanting, and if you aren't affected by the chant, they beat you to death, and if you are affected by the chant, you join them and then beat other people to death, and there's no coming back from that. And so there were Chanters in this block that had been buttoned up by the military. They couldn't get out, but obviously the military had to make a decision, so the Reborn Wing was able to convince them to hold off for a few hours while they went in to try and save this one individual, only to find the source of the chant and destroy it or cleanse it. Eerie sacrificed himself to burn out the chant shard, which meant that the chant was over and they were able to save most of the people inside that weren't already affected, especially their target, and they became the heroes of the Empire for at least the few days. The Empire has a short memory, at least about good stuff. The Empire definitely remembers bad stuff.
Oh yeah.
But you can only stay the hero too long before someone's like, "There's flooding somewhere," and then the news cycle goes.
Now about that student loan.
Yeah. So you all returned to the coast where the Wistori ship, the Serpent of Winter, picked you up. And Serpent of Winter happened to currently contain your 2 other wingmates who were just returning from their mission, as well as 4 other phoenixes, 2 each from 2 different wings, who were on separate missions. One of these wings, or one of these little groups, the 2 that aren't with them died, so they lost 2 members, and so there's just 2 of them back. And then there's another group that were just a two-fer mission, and they succeeded. They had to, bring a package somewhere, or bring self-determination to the West, Micronesian people, and then they did, and so now you're all taking the boat back.
Wait, do we have a white man's burden? What's happening here?
No.
Oh no.
Do you have the dead man's burden? It's very different.
That's that Oingo Boingo song, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a dead man's burden.
So you head off. The ship pulls out from port of the capital, and it's a relatively long journey back to Pyre. Especially long considering the fact that you got here instantaneously, because all of you were able to teleport from Pyre to other places through the Imperial Flame. It just doesn't work the other way around. So you're on the way back. The Serpent Winter is a sort of medium-sized craft. It has all the sort of trappings we might imagine in sort of a longboat. There are oars plus sails. There are separate cabins for each of you. The ship is at capacity with the various cabins. There's also sort of group housing where a bunch of mortals, civilians are housed, and then there's of course the crew is running around. There's also crew accommodations, maybe on a lower deck. There's also in the center of the ship a large sort of feasting hall, which is the entire length of the ship on one of the mid decks, and it's just one long central table. And dining has been there every night, but it hasn't been relatively festive dining. It has just been sort of, there's food like sort of buffet style, and you go get food and you sit down and you chat and maybe you've caught up with one of the other wings and what they've been up to, and stories of the Dread. The Phoenixes don't really sort of compete with each other, except for maybe they, occasionally wings will become rivals, but you are sort of well received initially because of your work with the Chant. Like people are quite impressed. The Chant has taken down more wings than have taken down it, and this is the first time in recorded history that someone has found a way to stop a Chant outbreak short of leveling the town that it's in. Sort of a blessing you weren't on that one, because you would have been like, well, if we burn the building down, then everything will be fine.
Yeah. Pretty simple solution.
It works. So there's a lot of that, but a few nights into the trip, there's the sort of mid-trip, halfway point of no return. You're heading deep into the deep sea feast. So you head out of your cabins and you head into the central portion of the ship, into the sort of feasting area, and you see that it has been entirely transformed. It's been decked out. There's silver containers of food, and there's giant loaves of bread, and there's fresh fish caught from like nets off the right off the side of the boat. And as Phoenixes, you don't need to eat, but you certainly do enjoy it.
Sure.
And everyone on board is welcome. So there's like a skeleton crew keeping the ship in operation, but the captain and everyone's here. There's decorations and poorly written in Pyrean, like "Welcome Phoenixes," like written on a big banner. And people are sort of, they're already drinking when you get there, and there's a lot of clinking of, mismatched grog containers, and people are sort of having a good time. So, is there anything specific you want to do before people sit down to the actual feast of it all?
Well, I'd like to. Well, we've probably talked at this point, so.
Feel free to catch up, though. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sure. I have to imagine that there is a way that they can adjust the flame so that we can travel back through it. Not that I mind traveling by ship, especially with my friends close to me, but it does seem odd, doesn't it?
We've been told it's not possible, though.
Well, not possible, but I mean, look at us. Look at the things we can do.
Just relax. It's a good trip. Actually, I'm going to do that again. Different voice.
Sure.
Different voice.
And
Hang on. I got to think. Got to get into character. Relax. It's a good trip. You've got good food. Relax. Enjoy it. You never enjoy anything.
I do tend to overthink things, Beans. That is true.
If I'd walked, I would be there already.
Get yourself something to drink.
And I imagine Varya off to the side says, "It's not too late."
Is there assigned seating?
No, you're free to sit where you will, but there is a sort of honorarium area for the Phoenixes. Many people who travel by Wisteria ships sort of secretly hope, when they buy their ticket, that they're going to be on a ship taking a Phoenix back to Pyre. So a lot of people look like the cat that caught the canary, and they're like, "Oh, we get to say, oh my God," because these people definitely, the people who travel by Wisteria ships, know of Phoenixes and love them and don't think you're full of shit like so many citizens do.
Right.
There's also a beverage called Nima, which is sort of a mead sort of distillate that is very commonly served on Wisteria ships, and they're uncorking like the special bottles of Nima.
Of the small bottles, there's sort of like a kind of a wine cooler, maybe kind of.
Yeah, they're Bartles and
Turn the
James.
N on the side.
Yeah, it's a zesty, breezy beverage. No, they have like those long bottles that sort of end in a sphere. So
good.
It's sort of like a sphere, and it comes up in a long cork, and then they
Yard-long margaritas. I've
Yeah,
had them
yeah,
many times in Vegas.
they
Eerie,
sort of
I believe we're meant to share those, but enjoy yourself.
Eerie, whose Phoenix manifestation is like a 14-year-old, is drinking like a fish. So the captain sort of mentions that everyone should sit.
All right.
Well, I must say, it is an absolute honor to have you with us today aboard the ship. Not just because we always appreciate taking Phoenixes back to Pyre, a service we've been willing to provide for some time, but also because I understand that the Reborn Wing is with us today. Reborn Wing, say hi. And they're like everyone's sort of, yay, Reborn Wing. As you might know, my islands were devastated. Many generations ago, the Wisteria people were cast into the sea, a place we were very familiar but that we had not intended to make our homes. And it was the very Chant that I understand you've defeated that was the primary antagonist that drove us from our our island compounds and onto the ships that we made our homes, and then into our future homes and our colonies across the land. So if we have made a strike against the Chanters, we've made a strike for the Wisteria people, and we thank you. And as a result, please feast. Everything is, of course, on the house as it always is, but this is my private stock. I encourage all of you to eat. This is the food that I hold back for the best of occasions, and this is the best occasion I've ever heard of. So, this is against the Chant and for the Phoenixes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Serpent of Winter. Enjoy.
Here, here.
And he goes off to, glad hand people.
Naturally.
People are sort of milling around, and there's an older Wisteria man there who's sort of sitting near you. And he says that sort of thing where, it's not really clear that he's even addressing any of you. He's just sort of talking at where you might have been. And he's, did you ever hear the tale of the first Chant outbreak?
Well, perhaps you could refresh our memories.
The Wisteria people tell it and tell it again. We repeat it perhaps as much as the Chant itself. My people had taken in refugees from many of the other conflicts that were in neighboring islands and the mainland. And one group of refugees, they must have brought it with them. We don't know. You, by the way, know that the Shadowvar is where the Chant was originated, so it was definitely not, it didn't spring up on these islands.
Right.
And we moved them, we settled these people in a remote village. As we had nothing but remote villages then. It was simply a place that we sent them to any other seaside town, and they, to all accounts, merged in with the people and welcomed our lives and learned to work the sea and learned to work what little land we did. And then the communication stopped. And our elders worried that some plague had beset the town. And perhaps because of the paranoia of the recent conflicts, an armed division was sent, as opposed to simply a scout or a mission of outreach. That armed division went and was not heard from again, and followed by another armed division that was sent to scout the purpose of that armed division, and so on. Eventually, when the Chanters overwhelmed the nearby town, they had grown to the hundreds, and we sent troops in to face them. And those troops were defeated in combat or fell to the Chant themselves. And there came a time where we were getting aboard our ships and we were taking our equipment and we were moving it onto the docks and moving it from the docks into the holds of ships. Ships were being built on the far sides of islands to accommodate more. And we realized that if we shoved off from those islands, if we pushed away from the docks, we would never come back. That would be the last time that we set foot in our homes. And that we were, instead of fleeing our homes, we were choosing new homes in the sea. And eventually in Safe Haven and New Harbor and all of our future colonies. And there were people, I remember tales my father told, there were people who chose not to go. They would die in our homes. They would fall to the Chant in our homes rather than leave. And I don't think that scar has healed in our people. Because we've never been able to conceive of a world in which we could come back to our homes. Now, of course, the Chant has in many ways run its course on our islands, and there's some potential chance for us to return, but... Well, anyway, I won't live much longer myself. I'm an old man. But I will say that as much as it's catching me in the twilight of my years, I'm glad I lived long enough to meet you and to see this. And I have something for you. And sort of fishes around in his pockets and he takes out sort of, it looks like an amulet. It's like it's a Wisteria sort of compass piece. This was long passed down in my family, and I would like it to return to my islands. And I may not be the one to carry it, nor may you, but in your hands, it may find a home before I can bring it there. And he hands it to who wants to take it.
I'll take it.
All right. It's a strange mix of like wood carving and like almost clockwork design.
Okay.
And it has a leather cord. And he tells you, there was a time when those were very common amongst my people, but no one's quite sure why. They were, all ship's captains had them, and my great-grandfather had one, and he passed it down to his father, to my father, and then to me. I hope that it finds a home, or it finds its way home with you. And he sort of leaves you to, he continues eating and drinking and leaves you to the meal. And the captain bangs his cup on the table.
Suits you, Beans.
It turns white. It bangs his cup on the table and says, and now as tradition, at least on my ship, but on many ships of our people, let us tell the heroic stories. And he sort of opens the floor to heroic stories, and the Durant in one of the other wings stands up and begins telling a tale about how he and his compatriot had their backs against the wall, and a bone swarm was against them, and they fought as hard as they could. And there was a single human that they were protecting, the last human in that area. They wanted to make sure that they did their best to keep them safe. So they basically passed them off like a football. So like the bone swarm would attack one, and they would like sort of like shuttle, the person would like run and hide with the other phoenix, and then they would fight as long as they could until they won. Meanwhile, they passed them back and forth. And then eventually, he says that he was in a collapsing building, which he held the building rafters aloft over this person for hours until they were rescued. And there's a big applause.
Yeah.
And one of the soldiers stands up and tells a story of great heroism on the battlefield. And then a woman stands up and talks about how the dread came to her village, and she, having never fought before, picked up a pitchfork and defended the people. And there's cheers, and then there's some space. There's a pause in the action. Does anyone want to tell a story?
Sure. Of course. Wait, what was the voice?
You were British, I think.
I thought I was going to go. I was going for
you
British.
weren't just British, you were this British.
I was this British.
You were the most British.
Of course.
Crikey, governor.
Cool. Oh, oh, I missed it. You messed me up.
Sorry.
I'm not crikey. It's like kind of Irish. All right. Let me tell y'all. Oops, that's Southern. Let me tell you all a story that'll curl your hair. One night. Oops, changing accent. That's my feature. Every time I speak, I have a new accent.
You froze to death with a head injury.
Yeah, I've got that. Yeah, that head injury that changed your accent. One night, crikey, it was me and 3 children. One was 1 month old, one was 3 months old, another was 6 months old. Babies. Me, 3 babies. And I was just waiting there for someone to come take these babies. I was protecting these babies. And what do you think happens? But not two packs of wolves start circling us. I don't have my weapons because there's babies around. So what do you think I have to do? Well, first of all, you gotta use your brains. It's not all about the swords, people. Sometimes it's about the brains. So I set the babies out so that their cries would track the wolves. And I moved in between, and as each wolf came by, I would karate chop it on the neck and break its neck. And that is how I, with my bare hands and 3 babies, killed 200 wolves in an hour. Thank you.
That it goes over very well.
Yeah.
It's like,
It does because it's dramatic.
Yeah, there's
It
definitely
has babies.
Yep.
People are
It's
tearing up.
What a very pre-internet savvy story. You include babies and puppies.
I have a story. It's about it also involves a child. He was 9 years old. He had a mother. She tried very hard, but it's difficult in Grey Garden. There aren't a lot of jobs for a single woman with a child. So she did what she had to do. She sold, she stole, she made deals. And one day, she made the wrong deal. And men came to the house, and they cut her up. And the little boy, he tried to stop them, and they cut him up too. Boy woke the next morning, and it was the same day. And the same thing happened. The man came and cut his mother up, and the little boy tried to stop him, but he couldn't. He died, but he woke up the next day. It was the same day. And the man came to cut up the woman. And you know what? The boy stood up, and he struck the man with a broomstick, and he went down, eyes glazed. And that boy killed the man, saved his mother, and he woke up the same day. And the man came, and the boy killed the man, saved his mother. Then he woke up the next day. It was the same day. And that day repeated over and over again for 1,000 years. And on the last day of the 1,000th year, he didn't kill the man. He saved the man, and he saved his mother. And that was the day he stepped out of the pyre.
And that is the reaction the room has. Oh, actually, that's true. All the Phoenixes realize you're talking about your first death.
Yeah.
And so they're all like, this story has heavy meaning to them. Very few of the mortals have any idea what that meant. And like one or two of them are like able to sort of make like a college freshman sort of, oh yeah, so like he learned that saving is better than killing. Yeah, okay. And then there's like a lot of like, yeah, but like most of the mortals don't get it.
To kind of help diffuse the weird vibe in the room, Ink, the scholar, gets up and he's like, this reminds me of a story from antiquity. Sorry.
Then as we visited briefly last week, suddenly we have this strange feeling that something powerful and evil and dangerous is close. And it's sort of, and you can feel it calling you to come above deck. You, on the other hand, it feels very different. You can sort of feel the cleansed shard that you have with you sort of is like almost, imperceptibly tugging on its bonds in your bag or your satchel or whatever to sort of like travel in a certain direction or vector. Okay. And it would want you to sort of go through the wall of the ship into the sea, but you can travel further up above deck. So both of you have a sort of reason to go up.
Eerie, would you like to go above deck with me?
Yeah.
Do you two want to join him?
I've already finished eating. I'm good.
You need company.
Well, strength in numbers and whatnot.
All right, let's do this.
All right.
All right. So up on top deck, there's, you're in a sort of misty, it's a foggy night. The ship has big, sort of like small, the big like flame pots that like serve as large lanterns and illuminate large areas.
Braziers.
Braziers.
Yes.
It has shipborne braziers, and it's illuminating some distance. And after a little bit, you sort of feel yourself drawn in a certain direction. You can see the outline, like in the moonlight, of a very large vessel. It almost looks like a sort of skyscraper turned on its side. It's gigantic, and it's it's has the vague shape of a boat. Has a high prow, and it sort of has like a vaguely boat shape, but it also sort of has like the constructed top of like multiple rooftops. And it's clearly maybe 300 or 400 feet out in the fog. No lights, not under power in any capacity. There's no sails up, no oars down, and it's just sort of sitting there off the boat. What do you want to do?
It's certainly not something one sees every day. I realize we're on our way back to Pyre, but perhaps we should alert the captain. This seems like something he would want to know about.
Number one, yeah, absolutely. No question.
Definitely looks suspicious.
2, we should evaluate the chance that this is some sort of an ambush.
Exactly. And then I kind of take Eerie aside and I'm like, the shard in my pocket wants to go on that ship.
I feel it.
All right. Who goes to get the captain?
Oh, I will. I'm a good talking guy.
Good talking guy.
Yep.
Good talking guy.
All right. All right. So you go grab him. He sort of does that annoying host thing where he's like, no, everything's fine. Just stay in the party. And then eventually you say something effective. There's a ship. And he's like, oh.
Yeah.
And he lets you drag him up on board. And a small contingent of the crew go with him, and they sort of like take positions as soon as he gets out there.
There.
So he, the ship doesn't seem like it's alive. And he, they put sails up and some oars down, and they're like, all right. The captain says, we can move toward it if you want, or we can try and move up alongside it and stay a distance out, or we can move away from it. I'm happy to do anything. This is sort of unparalleled. It looks like one of the old Wisteria colony ships, but we haven't, they're all accounted for or decommissioned.
It certainly is odd. Perhaps it would be best if you take us close and we take a small boat across, so the ship is not in any immediate danger, and if you need to leave in a hurry, you're certainly able to do so.
All right.
Well, I guess a good plan. Keep the innocents out of harm's way.
That's what we do. Thank you, Beans.
So he gets the ship moves up alongside, but as soon as the ship comes within, maybe a couple 100 feet of the larger craft, there's like, you can feel it because the thing is so big. It starts pushing back. It starts moving back towards you, but it's not operating like as a ship would. It's not like heading there. It's not turning to you and moving in your direction. It's like it's being pushed by some sort of force, and it sort of slides up against the boats, but they're both in water, so like it doesn't collide.
Right.
And the captain, sort of shouts down like, "I'm sorry, this is what I'm trying to do here. Move us off, boys!" And then the ship you can see the ship sort of part for a second, and then slams back together, and then part for a second, and then slam back together. And I'm sorry, I can't. I don't know why.
It looks like we've made a tactical error.
So much for keeping innocents out of harm's way.
Well, there are definitely a lot of phoenixes on board this your boat. So some of them, for example, Varya and Idalia, can stay back and protect the innocents on board ship.
Varya, Idalia, do you mind staying back and protecting the innocents on the ship?
We both hate that idea, but they do it anyway.
Actually, Varya probably hates it. Idalia is fine with it, I'm sure. All right, well, shall we go over? Kelvin, Beans,
Perfect, strong
Let's
back line.
do
We
this.
board the ship.
Eerie, are you all right?
This isn't right.
All right, draw up to your card, to your hand size, just in case, and we'll head on board. So this ship is about as large as like a super tanker. It's and it sort of has the same basic dimensions and shape as what we would know in modern times as a cruise ship. Basically, it's a large ship, and it has like a large sort of top structure that is sort of all buildings wise. But it's all, if you've ever been on a cruise ship, it has a slightly different character in that, like, there are not like cabins like you would stay in for a week. There are like houses almost. So like each door, and there's some are open. This whole ship is covered in like dust and filth and seaweed, and stuff's been blown up on top of it. But like you can look into occasional door, and it looks like you're looking into someone's hut. There's like a cooking fire and everything else, and like side rooms. these ships were designed to be a floating city, and so there were long-term residents who wanted to live here. So there's several floors above deck. Like there's several stories of ship that go above deck, and then there's probably 10 stories below deck, below the hull line. And there are entrances. They're all shut, but there are entrances every few hundred feet that are like big bulkhead doors that obviously lead inside the superstructure. This all has that sort of strange wood punk aesthetic where it looks like very early, like primitive gearing and machinery. So there are like mechanical hatches, but it's all like weathered gray and brown wood, and there's very little metal in use at all. But it definitely seems to have a sort of almost like it has like Star Trek doors. But, you have to open one to find out. But if you were to open them, like, instead of going like, psst, it's like a long, complicated gear sound as they slowly ratchet open, like, over the space of, 2 or 3 minutes.
But this is all what it's supposed to look like. It's not like...
Yes. This is all technology that the original Wisteria had, says the captain. Oh, and going on board with you, I gotta grab her name.
Rewind. Captain, is there anything we should know about the ship before we go on board?
We used to use a lot of old wood punk technology. All right, see ya. Have a good time.
You're not the captain? That's not how the captain talked at all.
I'm the captain's surrogate. Exposition Joe. Exposition Joe says, get off the boat. Now, I need to find you the name of the...
We don't need your title. You can remain informal and call yourself Joe.
Yes. Vesta is going to come with you as well. Vesta, the Imperial engineer Vesta, who you travel with. So the way it works with an innocent is one of you will have to keep track of her at all times, basically. It's sort of like that Dern was explaining. Like, you basically are going to have to pass the torch on that. So that innocent, basically, while they're with you, can share your health levels. So you basically can get in the way of damage that would otherwise be affecting Varya. No, not Varya. Whatever her name is.
Vesta. All right, I'll hang on to her for the moment.
Okay. So Vesta will travel with you, and she has her like tool belt with her, and she's able to help you open some of these doors.
Give them to her so that you can scout ahead with me.
Okay. I actually like that plan. So I'm like, perhaps you should stay with me. And, well, no. Beans, would you mind?
I'm used to crikey. I'm used to taking care of innocents. You're safe with me. Quick question.
In case there are any wolves around.
Hey, I'll karate chop you on the neck.
What is this karate you speak of?
It's something special that only I know about.
I look forward to discussing it further.
I invented it. I'll teach you later. Question.
Yeah.
We have, like, all of our stuff just is always with us. So we have weapons right now.
Right. The only weapon that really matters to you is your talon, whatever that is. What does your talon look like?
Oh, it's one of the Roman short swords.
Okay, so like you're like signature gladius that comes back with you whenever you're reborn and comes out of the fire when you transport. That is basically like a weapon worthy of your abilities.
Okay.
You can certainly grab any old spear lying around, but like you break it in the first hit.
Oh, okay.
Your talon is really like is the thing that extends your power and not much else.
Okay.
So you have your talon with you. You all do. What is your talon?
Mine is actually the giant broadsword.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you seen that a samurai sword beats a broadsword? Just saying.
Is this more about karate?
Let me tell you about this thing I invented. It's called karate, and with it comes samurai swords.
This is all fascinating. Anyway.
I think we're driving closer to why your cog became beans.
I'm not gonna. It's an honorific, y'all. An honorific.
So while we're settled on board, and Vesta settles up next to Beans, Ink takes the pouch that the Chant shard is in and ties it as tight as he possibly can at the opening so that it can't just pop out.
At least now it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it has enough oomph to like manage to like. It's not like levitating inside the container, but
Sure.
Yeah. But this is good precaution.
Yeah. And I'm going to keep that handy just in case it decides that it wants to show us the way anywhere.
Okay.
As opposed to being strung on my waist.
All right. So you're outside. You're on the outer decks, up on sort of the water line, or like the top of the main deck of the boat. Where do you want to head from here?
I'm going to see what's drawing me.
Okay.
Try and scout ahead. Try and suss out the situation. Figure out where things are hiding.
And I'm going to split the difference between Eerie and the rest of the group.
Okay.
I'd say sticking to the shadows, but since it's all shadows,
Yeah, it's pretty shadowy.
Yeah.
Well, you feel like whatever is drawing you is below decks, maybe like in the center, low in the ship. That's where sort of that energy is coming from. You can also see like occasional. Like as you're walking along the side of the deck, you'll see like a sword or like a length of rope or other things that were sort of left out. Maybe like a scrap of cloth.
and when I get psychometry, I will use that.
Recently, or
No. Everything is old. This style of boat would probably have been 2 generations ago as well. But also, everything here is clearly
Nothing seems disturbed.
no. No more disturbed than being tossed around at sea.
Okay.
So yeah, you whatever is drawing you below decks. So you'd have to go into the superstructure to head down there.
I turn to Vesta and say, "Did I ever tell you the story of the time it was me and 3 babies?"
She enjoys the story. What do you want to do?
Eerie?
going down.
All right.
While we're up here, there's the captain's quarters, typically towards the top, if we want to see if the leaders up here cut off their head.
It's not a bad idea. Do a little investigation before we go to the source.
Captain's quarters?
Yeah.
Certainly.
All right.
It's an idea, Cullen.
Someone, either of you, make an intelligence spread to navigate the ship based on like your knowledge of nautical design. Is that going to be a Kelvin thing?
Well,
I mean, I've definitely, there's no question I've been on invasion ships, so I'd know a ship fairly well.
Okay. So what do you got? It's a 3-card spread. And I don't know if we haven't discussed this yet, but if you have a trait, you justify its use, and then it doesn't count towards your spread, and it usually has special abilities, and you can also draw a card.
How about the Empire?
Yeah, I'll let you take that. So that skill specialty will give you +5 to this. And then what do you have spread-wise? All intellect cards, please. And I think you can use...
Yeah, I have Fire and Blood, so I can use any one card as an intellect card regardless of its actual suit. So
Go for it.
I'm going to use a grace card. Nothing special about this spread.
Okay.
I'm just going to use these 3.
So it's 5 + 8. So I'll say you're able to navigate your way, so you can draw back up to 5, and those can be discarded.
sorry, I'm just interrupting real quick. Would bumping that up to 16 make any difference?
If it took it over, if it added another denomination of 5, it always does.
Okay. Well, wait a sec. I seem to remember seeing something like this in a scroll before, so that's 16 as opposed to 13.
All right, so you're able to you're definitely able to find your way. Actually, the captain's cabin has a distinct profile that you're able to see against the moonlight, and you can head up in that direction.
There.
I'm assuming you mean like do you want the captain's like private quarters, or do you want the
Well, like the bridge,
the
right?
bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, the bridge.
Yeah.
Where's the ship's log?
All right, so you head up to the bridge, and this is sort of a. There's no glass really, but this is like it looks much like you might imagine like a battleship bridge, right? So it's like a big sort of like, loose window portals sort of area. It's got 2 of those big doors, one on either side of it, on either side of the ship. And then inside you can see like the wheel and everything that controls the ship. And you could crawl in through one of these open windows, or you could open one of the doors.
Let's open one of the doors.
Let's be direct.
Yeah.
Okay, so the door, slow. This is one of those like hatch doors that opens up, and inside you can see a number of corpses, like very old corpses, like dusty old Indiana Jones would find them style corpses.
Sea mummies.
Yes, and there's all like a pile of them, and they've basically collapsed against one side of the room. The wheel is unattended. It sort of, it moves a bit as the ship moves. There's all kinds of like various like old school nautical instruments, none of which are like powered by anything, mechanically. They're just, it's like a barometer basically and like a compass, most of which are sort of broken now just from time. And then there's a big collection of like sort of odd gearing and like all like wood punk sort of stuff along the back wall, with like what looks like sort of portals where you might see readouts or like shouting tubes for information, and it's not really clear what any of that does, although Vesta thinks maybe that was some sort of communication or control of the engine room, whatever made this thing go.
I'm gonna turn the wheel.
Okay.
Try and turn the ship away from it's our boat.
Okay. You know enough about a ship's wheel to know which way to sort of turn it, but it doesn't matter either way you turn it, because as soon as the boat seems to try and part ways, and on board this ship, you can sort of feel like a wave of force, like the whole ship shakes and it skids back against the boat.
Well, this isn't good.
The whole ship shimmies when everybody's grooving
Moving
around and around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's the love boat.
Not sorry.
Do these bodies look like they were piled there?
Yeah, I want to investigate the bodies.
They don't have much clothes left. Whether or not they had them when they went down, you don't know.
Okay.
Make a grace or intellect spread to do more examination.
Okay.
Sexy orgy?
Interrupted.
Would you say this is lore, observation?
Observation.
Okay, so that adds +5, giving me a total of 12.
Okay, you feel like these people died where they stood, or it's like they ran out of gas, like they just sort of collapsed. It's not unlike, or may possibly be, a chanter mob. Like it was a bunch of people who just sort of were like moving in one direction and then eventually just sort of collapsed under their own weight.
I'm not sure what befell these people, but whatever it is, I think we need to be especially careful if we head below decks.
Vesta maneuvers over to sort of the equipment. She's actually very, she's a soldier, so she's very cautious of she won't do anything unless you sort of give her a nod of approval. So can she go over there? Okay. So she goes over and sort of just moves stuff around, and she feels like this is probably where most of the ship can be controlled from here, and she actually thinks that there's parts of this that might be security based. There might be ways to gain access to the ship that are controlled from here, but she doesn't know enough about this technology to help.
I'd love it if we could leave you behind unprotected and explore further, but I don't believe that's safe right now, Vesta.
She doesn't want to do that anyway.
I'm glad we're in agreement.
It's all right, Vesta. Stick with me. Did I ever tell you?
8 babies.
900 wolves in 20 minutes.
2 hours, 6 million wolves, an entire nursery. She does think, however, that she can at least turn on, the sort of daytime running lights aspect of this equipment. She can sort of get it all going.
Nice, turn that on.
So she connects a couple of gears and slides some things, and you can see some parts of it sort of spring to life. It's all powered by passive energy gathered from the water.
Sure.
So the gears are slowly turning.
Turbine.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And then there's air, those sort of weird ribbons around a pole, air capturers all on the top of the ship, so it has enough mechanical energy to get things moving. and like there are these small. It's clearly generating electrical energy somewhere. Like there's these small, like thick copper coil lights, like start heating up, so that it gives everything sort of a red glow.
Well, that is not creepy at all.
No, not at all. I feel quite at home.
Where to now?
If we have light, then that's an upgrade in our situation, though.
No. Eerie, you said you wanted to go below decks. Perhaps it's time?
I don't want to go.
You feel something down there. All right. Strength in numbers, friend. Strength in numbers.
What's the worst that can happen?
If you'll let her Vestal light a torch so that she can see better, because you can see better in dim light. So you head in through the nearest portal, or do you want to go somewhere else before you gain entrance?
What else is on a ship?
Well, I mean, in the way I see it, we can either spend a lot of time just exploring, quarters and stuff, and probably finding a lot more dead bodies. I doubt we're going to find much there, so it feels like...
Oh,
We explored the one area that would have a high-value target. The captain's not here. I think at this point it makes most sense to move down below. That's
Does
my
this
opinion.
ship have a pool?
It might have.
there wasn't a captain's log or some sort of.
No. There may have been one at some point, but whatever paper was in it is destroyed.
Yeah, sure.
Doesn't stand up well.
But there's definitely like sort of old desiccated books here, but none of them are readable in even the slightest.
I'm sure they'd disintegrate as soon as we touched them anyway.
Yeah.
Cute.
Thank you.
So how are you heading down?
No, I feel like we should just open the nearest portal and head downstairs. Wait 5 minutes for the door to open, and yeah.
Technology is unimpressive.
I mean, it was a feat of engineering at the time.
So, as we're going, are these doors shutting behind us?
Not unless you control them to. They have big, like, sort of solid state, like, long bar with a bulb on top switches. So it's like,
Okay.
door open, and then it, like, slowly opens. And then it's like, door close, and then it will slowly close. Or, like, get halfway to closing and then skid weird and not work. No, they aren't closing behind you.
All right, down we go.
Okay, so every 100 feet or so, there's one of those, like, is like a long, maybe as big as one of these pieces of paper, coil, like electrocoil lights, which sort of give a dull red glow, but it clearly either it isn't at full capacity or there was something else in use before, because it's definitely not enough to see by normally. There's a lot of dust in here. Every now and again you can see like a few bodies. There are bodies stuck in doors. There are bodies that are like dismembered. There are also like other big groups of bodies, and occasionally you can see what appear to be like handprints or footprints in the dust, where there must have been something there that didn't capture dust quite the same way. So
But
it
it's not there anymore?
yeah. Oh, it's
So
like
things
it's
have
like if you
moved?
like fluid or something, so it has a different. It's still all dusty, but it has a different.
Sure.
Captures things differently.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking any of these people died naturally, is my assumption.
Astute.
There's also a fair amount of sound down here. There's a sort of a dull roaring of like the various gears. You can hear the water lapping along the side of the boat. You can occasionally hear like the boat like bumping up against the Winter Serpent. There's also like weird bangings and other sort of sounds from various areas. There's unsecured portholes somewhere that are flopping about. And it's very hard to sort of get a pace for what is and isn't natural sound down here. So it gets more than confusing as things go forward.
Okay.
As we're going forward, we're basically moving down corridors with doors that are leading to these like homes.
Yeah.
I just want to take a glance in and make sure that as we're going down these corridors, there's always a window.
Okay.
Like we're not going into the center, or when we do go into a center, I want to know.
Okay.
Like
Well, you're going to have to go lower eventually, but right
Right.
now you're looking in cabins, or you're looking in like homes that have access to the exterior air. There's also not always homes. Like sometimes it's like a service door. or there's like an area that must have been a staging area for
I
something.
don't need to
or
look
like a
into every
laundry.
door. I just occasionally am checking to make
Okay.
sure.
And as
We need to look through every door. As we walk by, each door will be inspected.
1
Okay.
week later, and actually as we're
Not a
going
full
by
inspection,
every
but I'll make sure to
probably
put eyes on each one.
every like fifth light or whatever, Ink puts an X underneath it with his stylus, just so we can kind of retrace our steps if we need
good
to.
call.
Nice.
Okay. It's clear that there are neighborhoods, if you will, on this boat. So there are like areas that are all supported by various sort of like central utilities. What are clearly like food storage areas,
Sure.
granaries, what were probably at some point gardens or aquaculture gardens, will all be centered around clustered around a bunch of different home structures. Will you grab me one too, or simpler times is fine.
You're an adult. You're gonna have to open this because I'm a child and I cannot. Child friendly. No, that was.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want one or
No,
something?
I'm
Okay.
fine.
Um,
Get one right there.
That's fine.
Over there behind
oh, you know what? Here, hand this to Sam Proof because he will drink it, and so
All right.
hand me a simpler times.
I don't know what that means.
you. There's
Simpler
back
times
there.
is a thing.
Also, Sam,
Type of beer.
Oh, this thing?
Yeah, it says simpler times.
you're welcome. Sam proof, everybody.
Sam Proof.
Chicken peanuts?
Artificial chicken
Oh,
flavor.
well, if it's artificial chicken.
Oh, so a vegetarian can eat those.
Yeah, I actually got them when I was.
Can I have a couple? So I know.
Oh, that's fascinating.
What I'm getting myself into.
That's fascinating.
Oh, sure, why not?
I try go to the Asian market and get like crazy things. And sometimes they're awful, and sometimes they're pretty decent.
Yeah.
I approve of this.
I'm not sure how to process this information in my mouth right now.
Yeah.
It's like a Burger King chicken sandwich, but it's also a peanut.
But it's also crunchy.
Yeah.
But then it's also peanut texture.
But
I'll get
like,
back to you.
but like hollow peanut texture. too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a corn nut, but not hard.
It's like a Doritos Locos peanut.
And now, 45,000 more words about these chicken peanuts.
Wait, I think we were playing some sort of storytelling game.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not sure. Yeah.
All right, so after a while, you come upon a larger set of doors than you've seen closed. There looks to be outside these doors what might have at some point been some attempt to bar these doors or to protect these doors.
Well,
It's a sort of handcrafted, yes, it is artisanal. No, it is a sort of like hand-assembled structure of like planking, some of which you can see was like ripped from, walkways near where you are. And it's not clear what its intent was because it's been scattered about in front of this door.
so it didn't work. If they were trying to block the door got opened.
But as we look at it, it looks like the intention was to barricade things from where we're coming from rather than the other side.
Maybe.
But it's not 100% clear.
Yeah, it's not clear. I mean, certainly the door is shut. So if they were trying to keep someone from busting through the door,
And they succeeded to a point.
yeah.
But they all
Right.
died.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, it looks like we've arrived at the belly of the beast. Do I tell you a story?
Eerie, how
Go
do
ahead.
you feel?
It's about me and 800 babies.
I think I've heard this one.
But only 3 wolves.
Less impressive.
All the babies were kind.
Chopping the baby's necks.
You were protecting the
Saving
wolves
the
from the
wolves.
babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Killed
Wild,
2,000
wild babies. Protect these
They were
precious
Chant
wolves.
babies, though, so it's okay.
Sax, I haven't had an honest to God spit taken in a while.
Teline will get you there.
No, that was yours.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
Taline's funny too, but
It's okay, I'll wait for my own.
you'll get one.
I don't need to take your spit take.
It's all right,
I'll
no,
get
that's
my own.
fine. You will. We're not leaving this room until we all spit take John Graham.
That's tough. I get one every few months. It's not common.
Today's the day, my friend.
Got one.
Fill out your year.
Yeah.
All right, so
boy.
you were at this big door. I mean, you could head. Imagine this big door's in the center of like a hallway T-bones into it, right? So you could go around this room if you wanted to, or you can try and open this door.
I keep picturing the Queen Mary, I'm not going to lie.
It's not far off,
No.
but made out of like a treated teak.
Yes.
Before I put my ear to it, do I hear anything?
I mean, there's the same sort of thumping and gear spinning and unusual clapping and whatnot that you hear anywhere in the boat, but nothing specifically behind it.
I wonder if we're ever going to have a better... Does this, architecturally, is there any way for us to guess how big the room that we're entering may be?
Psychometry.
Oh, okay.
I want to touch the door and see if I can figure out what's behind it. Will you allow that?
Yes, but I'm going to answer both your questions in succession.
sorry.
So, you think it is as big as what we would know to be like a gymnasium?
Okay.
If there's no sub rooms inside, based on the width of the hallway, and I'm assuming it's not hard for Eerie, for example, to go the length of it and come back down, so you can know how long it is.
Okay, so burning psychometry, have 2 sparks.
All right. So what are you trying to determine?
I don't know. I guess I kind of want to put my hand on the door and see if I can just determine what's inside.
There's something dark and evil there, but it's sleeping or dormant.
Okay.
And you almost feel like it's yanking at your psychometry, though. Like as you reach out to it to sense it, it's even the smallest touch of the aura of your psychometry is enough to sort of, it's like being yanked at by this energy.
Getting like a weird feedback loop or something.
Yeah. And it but it also has the same sort of taste in your mouth that you remember with the chant. So it's not.
Yeah, Ink puts his hand up to the door and almost instantly he pulls it away like it's hot. And he's like, okay. If we're going to go into this room, we need to be quite sure of what we're doing ahead of time, because I don't think whatever's in there is friendly.
Unfriendly. Well,
Which I suppose begs the larger question, do we want to go in that room?
Well, we could always go back to the ship and bump against it for a while, if that's your plan.
it looks...
You have such a fascinating outlook on the world, Beans.
The ships don't seem... I don't think it's going to be possible for us to extricate our ship from this ship currently. That seems to be the case. I think we've generally determined that from when you messed with the captain's wheel. So we know that, so we're going to be stuck together for at least some time, which means this, whatever is in here, are we talking a legion, are we talking a beast, are we talking multiples, what do we have?
Something.
Okay, something unfriendly, dangerous, active or inactive at the moment.
It's hard to tell. There was many voices in discordance, my own, something else. It might just be one thing, and I believe it's, for lack of a better word, sleeping.
So we'll never have almost certainly we're not going to have a better chance to ambush it than we have now.
Right.
I don't know that it's going to wake up later. Probably you don't either. We may not know if it's going to wake up later, but we do know we can get the drop on it right
So
now.
let's go sneak up on the bastard.
Also, pause button real quick. Talking about mysterious things that are sleeping, it's H.P. Lovecraft's birthday today.
Woo-hoo!
Happy birthday, H.P.
Yay!
Lovecraft! Sorry, anyway, go
Okay,
on.
back to the game.
Unpause.
Happy
I love
birthday,
you,
guy
racist
who
bastard.
has a
Yeah,
racist,
and sexist.
yeah, who has a very problematic background.
Is this the thing that's been pulling?
Your destination is further in the ship, but it's hard to sort of pinpoint it. It's just definitely, I mean, it definitely draws to you, but it sort of just draws you generally in a direction. But you feel like it's past this.
So so you said though that there's a way to kind of go around it?
Yeah,
You
it's
could
like
walk around
there's-
this room.
Yeah, this is kind of like I understand what you're saying. It's like a ballroom or a gym or something,
It's
and
a
we can go
ballroom.
around it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something in it's like the hallway around it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Well,
let's,
this ship will continue to exist beyond today.
Well,
We can
let's go.
assume, right?
One would hope.
So if this ghost ship continues to exist beyond today, there will be ships that will continue to travel this exact route beyond today. So do we not have some sort of a duty to protect future
Oh look,
ships
you
that may
ain't
come
got to
across
commit
this?
me. I'm already ready to kill something. I just want to come at it from a side where
Sure.
it doesn't see me coming before
This
I
is
karate
not-
chop it on its neck.
This is not the source.
We go further, Eerie.
Okay.
Big X on the door.
Coming
And
back to
actually,
kill this thing.
right across the mechanism that I'm assuming locks it, I write lock.
All right, so you want to head on.
Yeah.
Okay, so heading more
did wanna
towards
kill
the.
Sure, you'll have plenty of opportunity to kill things before our evening's out.
I do want to point something out before we move on. If we get further on, and we make a whole lot of noise and wake this thing up, and it comes up on our backs, doesn't that give us a harder fight?
Vesta, question for you. Is there any sort of emergency signaling device on this ship?
There's probably audio tubes that connect all the various rooms, or all the various main points.
But if, say, the ship found itself disabled to signal to another ship, what would they do?
They'd probably use semaphore code or signaling lights, which are probably higher above deck.
All right. I'm just wondering if it isn't behoove us to try to find a way to contact our fellow Phoenixes if we find ourselves in trouble. Well done.
Yeah.
Eerie.
Pointing at him. Don't know why, but I'm on
No.
board.
Eerie has a point. If the time comes, perhaps there's a way you can get above deck, fire off some sort of signal, and call for backup of some
Or
sort.
hang out a portal.
Or maybe put a signal through the side of the boat.
Yep, you could definitely do that.
I'm in favor of all those things.
The
We may
Wisteria,
call upon you to do that, Kelvin. Sorry.
the
That's no
Wisteria don't
problem
have
at
any
all.
magical traditions either, so it's unlikely they had any sort of magical signaling apparatus.
Well, I was even just wondering if they had flares or something, but yeah.
Actually, Vesta won't say that there's no to that. That makes sense. They would have had the technology to do it, but she hadn't seen any evidence of it. So
All right. Fair enough.
you're not wrong. It just doesn't seem like such things are around.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, she has flares, but they won't do
What?
you much good in the ship.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why you got to
We
find
need something
a portal.
capable of breaching the
Hang
hull,
out
which
as-
I
Yeah.
can handle.
All right.
Cool.
Just saying, do we want to wake this thing up and kill it before we move on?
If this isn't exactly what we're looking for, I see no need to disturb it at this point. The time may come when we have to face it, but that is not the
It's
time.
all right. I'll be ready to karate chop it whenever we're ready.
As you head,
Notes to self: read up on karate.
With the Y at the end.
Of course.
you all need to make a defense spread. This is an all or nothing defense spread, and it is so whatever your fighting style is will determine what your defense cards are.
No, he's got 2 fighting styles.
So you can choose
Yeah.
whichever one you're in currently. It doesn't really matter. But if you unless
Well,
you
they're both 2 grace
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
So.
this is an all or nothing defense of 8.
Bam.
Okay, you're fine. You're fine.
Oh boy.
But don't draw back up, right?
No, it's just fine. You're not in turn order, so you're fine. Yeah, I should get a torch.
And how about if we are incapable of handling that?
Well, you can if you can't make a spread against it that's going to get over 8. There's no reason to make a spread.
So I'm not
if
gonna
you want to
bother.
hold on to your
Yeah.
cards.
The
Okay.
thing you had to get rid of afflictions, that's a card? It's a trait?
Yeah.
Also,
So
um,
it's somewhere in the deck.
yeah.
Okay.
because I've successfully defended against an attack, correct? I'm hidden.
Okay. It wasn't. Okay,
Oh wait,
sure.
I just drew it.
Be hidden.
Oh, excellent.
there's-
Something's
there's
wrong,
no-
so into the shadows I go.
Okay, you
Yeah.
can feel something drawing at you, and
Okay.
so you dissipate. What are you going to do?
I'm going to use Memories of the Chant,
Okay.
and I'm going to say, sorry.
All right.
That'll be 9.
All right. So he says the chant to you, essentially, which is this terrible, contagious chant
Okay.
that normally phoenixes can resist, but you can't when another phoenix is doing it. So add this to your discard pile, and it's going to have an effect on you when it comes along.
Into my discard pile.
Yeah.
I see why you asked that.
And now you are drawn to the middle of the ship as well, because it's
Crikey, there's something in the middle of this ship. I need to see it. I need to see it now.
Yes, and then you can how is it pronounced?
Karate chop.
Karate chop. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Karate.
Spelled with a C at the beginning.
C-A-R-A-T-Y.
Ah, yes.
Karate.
2 T's.
See, I've never heard it pronounced. I've always just read it. So,
Karate.
Karate.
Carradine.
Karate.
David Carradine.
David Carradine.
Kung Fu.
That sounds like the southern way
comes
of
full
saying,
circle.
boy, you need to get to your karate. Get to your karate.
All right.
It's
so-
did you not? So you don't do a spread against it.
There's
All right.
no.
So
I don't have an option to do that.
some force is reaching out from that room, and it's close enough to you as you pass by the sides in the hallways, and it basically is giving you the enraged condition. So you can add you can use one more card in your attack spreads,
But
and
one
one
less
less
for
card
defense.
in your defense spread until you clear the condition.
Okay.
And it also has like a sort of role play effect on you, which is essentially that you are incredibly
how does that thing
angry.
work?
Like
Got
it's
it.
making you mad,
Yes.
and it is like filling you with like hateful energy. The rest of you are able to sort of push away from it.
Yeah, no, as soon as Ink feels that kind of pulling on his mind, he's like, nope, you
Yeah.
can't see me.
That's me right now.
Yeah.
Does that work to remove the chant?
Yes. No, sorry. Chant's not a condition. The chant is an affliction.
Well.
Sorry about that.
I can handle it.
I misunderstood.
It's all right.
Tough.
If you cleanse the shard here, you'll be fine. So
Sounds filthy.
But you got through it, and actually having more than one person that's able to feel this pull is probably going to do you well. So don't worry about it. I mean, unless it kills her, then do worry about it.
Then I just come back stronger than ever with a
Exactly.
new story.
4 wolves, 4 babies. Okay, so Kelvin gets mad for some reason, but all the rest of you are able to push off this sort of energy.
I'm not mad.
You all right, Kelvin?
Like I said, I'm not mad.
Clearly, I just checking in, bro.
Everyone in this party needs to relax. Oops, I just went Jersey Shore on you.
Yo, you phoenixes, yo, the reborn, all right?
These people need to relax, these people.
I'm gonna make everyone who plays Beans from here on out change accents every few scenes. All right, so you head on though. Even after this thing reaches out to you, you continue on. All right, so if you imagine there's like 3 neighborhoods per length of the ship. So this was sort of the central hub of the first neighborhood in like the 4 area of the ship. Now you're in the middle of the ship. Same sort of layout. There are various homes. There are various sort of utilitarian rooms. There's exits that go out to the outer deck, and then there's there's like one central sort of meeting hall room that has the big doors in front of it. This one too looks like it was barricaded, but the barricade remains, and you can keep moving or head below deck, or you can go further into the aft. The
Where are we
force
drawing?
pulling at both of you is drawing you like almost straight down from here.
So we go further
Let's
below
go
deck.
down.
All right. How's my pouch doing?
It's also moving in that direction.
Okay.
So you head down the stairs, and there's like a sort of utility, like walkway space that heads down from like level to level. They're just wooden decks, so I mean, there's not a lot of mass to them. And so as you head down, you're on the second floor. This too is sort of laid out in the same way. So now you're close to the sort of central meeting hall of this area. But there's much less in terms of like housing. These are different quarters, and they're a little bit higher end. Maybe
These have been gentrified.
yeah. This stratification is slightly higher end. And the main section of this one too, as all of them, like the central area, the meeting area has been locked off. where you want to go from here. What's drawing you is drawing you further down, so you can continue down deeper into the decks of the boat.
Just kind of cursory glance around the area. I mean, are we still seeing piles of bodies and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, they're sporadically throughout. So you see bodies, you see, like signs of combat. There are crossbow bolts stuck in walls.
Crossbow bolt. Those guys, there's crossbow bolts here.
Stuck in the walls.
What kind? We're stuck in the walls. What kind of fight was
Float on
this?
the water.
Oh, now
water.
I'm Australian.
Yeah.
Can't hold an accent.
There are also there are whole rooms that seem like they might have been on fire at one point, burned out.
Holy smokes! Pun.
I'm leaving.
It feels to me like this level has been dealt with. We know what's going on. We see the crossbow bolts, we see the fire. Why have we not moved on at this point? We're wasting time. Are we planning on wasting the entire day?
Yo, important question needs to be answered. Who was shooting the bolts?
Well, I'm sure whoever was trying to escape whatever's sealed in that room, much like the one upstairs. Kelvin,
Invading force. It doesn't matter.
perhaps
All
we
right.
should listen to our
When we all get crossbow bolts in our backs, I just want you all to remember this conversation and that I was interested in investigating. And let's move on,
Duly noted.
because
Thank you, Beans.
there's something I want to get in touch with. It's
Nothing-
not just myself. Boom!
Nothing more exacerbated situation like one person being game effect angry and someone suddenly being like aggressive New Yorker, like based on a story element. It's like it could not have synergistically could not have happened any worse for you guys.
Right.
Unless she was like spouting German, like "We will not downstairs," like. But so you you head down is the message I'm getting.
Down we
All
go.
right.
Say so.
So
There's
after
something I gotta see.
it
here.
goes like this, like 2 more levels down. They all seem like they have the same general sort of housing layout, and then eventually you get low enough that now you're into sort of more industrial levels. Like there are like almost like sea factories down here, or like wood shops. There are machine rooms here that are where like wood gears are slowly turning with the wooden power. There are like larger rooms where clearly repairs are being done to like small boats. There is all kinds of stuff down here, but then like the striations, like the sort of neighborhood-wise, like there are areas that are industrial, and then there are areas that are like utility for people upstairs. So there is a swimming pool at one point. There's a there are like sort of various other sort of like small meeting rooms. There are, larger kitchens for like longer term cooking.
Are we deep enough now or central enough that we're not seeing portals to the outside?
Yeah, there's nothing. You're
Okay.
you're below
We
the
are now
waterline here.
encased.
And we're like midship, like kind of front.
You're still
back?
midship because you haven't gone further aft. There are like small leaks here and there. Nothing that's going to let in enough water to take the boat down, but like there's like it's
Below
like
or
damp
from the side?
from the side.
Okay.
Like the boat's been buffeted against rocks and things, and there's just like little trickles of water, and there are areas that actually are like covered in moss and other sort of like natural like vegetation outbreaks that have like basically come from like it being wet and damp here.
It's actually pretty well made. Okay?
Thank you. This is the best way these rolls could ever have worked. Thank you, cards. You did your job, cards. All right, so where do you head from here? There's probably one more floor below you.
And,
And-
it's still tugging down? Like the impulse is still
Like
down?
down and back.
Is it this whole thing? Is it like a sailboat, or is there like an engine kind of situation?
It's
or-
powered by wind and sea power, but but by deferred means. So like as opposed to big sails, they have those like big air power capturers that turn big turbines underneath the water.
And they've got a caterpillar drive.
Yeah. You can only tell that the ship even existed by looking at the port where it was supposed to have left in aerial photography. No, P.S. This is all like my invention. The Wisteria probably have like just sailboats in Keith Baker's version. This is like giant weird wood punk ship is entirely mine. But yeah, it's all so it's powered by wind, but the wind turns. The wind is like converted through gears and materials to turn big giant and like industrial sized turbines underneath that move everything. It was not designed to move fast or nimbly. It was basically they got it into the water, moved it out as deep as they could, and then left it there because it's supposed to be a home. People took boats to and from this.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose we should
Keep going.
venture further down.
I don't know why we're wasting so much time. It does not make sense.
Kelvin.
All right.
Hey, you want me to teach you some karate? Because I can teach you some karate.
I would pause the game and watch that if we could.
Is the most important thing for karate being quick to act and having no patience?
You don't know. I invented it. You don't know what it is.
Because if it is, I'd be amazing at it.
If you head down further, which I'm assuming is the intent of the party,
Yes, please.
Yep.
the lowest decks here are still more of these like basically this lower area is split into several like large spaces. So the first place you're at is like a ship, like a small shipbuilding facility. It's basically like a half of the middle section of the ship. So there's this half, and there's like you can see where people are sort of like making small wooden boats here. There's like sail material. There's a lot of raw wood here. This is where they were constructing something, and it's large and open, and there's like wood tools around. There are doors that head up to the front of the ship. There are doors that head to the back of the ship, and there's doors that head to the other side of the middle section. There's no like bodies in this room, but it still looks like there was probably a fight in here at some point a long time ago. Things were overturned, although it could all have always just been happening from.
We're still not in the spot where the
Yeah.
source of it is. All right, keep going.
These people are all dead. They don't matter.
Do you want to head?
What were they doing? Got them killed.
Do you want to head aft, or do you want to
Yes.
head? Okay.
Head towards the.
Okay.
towards
So.
the oh no!
Uh-huh.
Here it is.
Now you know what the markers are for.
All right. So you head to the aft of the ship. The lowest deck is a gigantic, grand ballroom. It's the entire width of the ship, and it's the size of the entire far deck. The entire ship could all be here at any given time celebrating, and it has a moon pool. Like the very center of it is cut out, and the water is there. Even though you're several floors below the water line, the change in pressure prevents the water from flowing in. So you can actually see, when you go up to the edge of it, you can actually sort of see like underwater, maybe 5 or 10 feet from just the light in this room. There are large bands of those sort of red coil lights that go up and down it, which are sort of giving it a dull illumination. And in two big piles, as you come in through the main doors, there are these, they're piles of bodies that are dead. And they look like chanter mobs that just sort of dropped there. There's maybe like 50 people in each of them, and they just sort of collapse dead. And in the very back of the room, you can see what you recognize as a whisper gestalt. It's whisperers are a version of chanters that when they finally push all the like life out of their bodies, get like pulled up, like hung on like hooks. And they sort of float, and they don't so much as speak the chant as whisper the chant. And they have vast telekinetic abilities. And these whisperers are there's like 2 or 3 of them in a whisper gestalt in the very back of the boat. And
Well, this sounds terrible.
And they're live.
oh yeah, they're alive. They're
Alive.
active. Yeah, the chanters are dead. The chanters burn themselves out, but these whisperers are alive.
Okay.
So you are in the grand ballroom.
Yay.
There is a chandelier, overturned tables, ancient corpses. There's broken barricade. There's all kinds of gears and machines about. There's the moon pool, and there's the chant, which is not. There's no actual chanters here, so you can't hear it.
Okay.
Do they have a shard between them?
No, there is no shard here.
But they are sort
There's
of
one in
Yeah.
my pouch wants to be there, though. Yeah.
Huh. Huh. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Is the heat camera reversed?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yep.
All right.
I can change
Can you flop it? All right.
whatever's easier.
Okay. And in addition to these objects, by the way, provided by the fine folks in chat, there's also a crate of high-proof rum, and a Shawn belter. I don't know what that is, but you're supposed to know what that is.
Yeah, a Shonovan Belter is a not Donovan Belter.
Okay.
Donovan Belter was a paladin I played in Barkey's Brigade. So, that's an object they've
Yes.
decided?
Someone-
Okay, so that would make it a non-living person, but a corpse
Right.
of Shonovan Belter. So, yeah, my character knows what to do with that.
Okay. And those count as environmental objects, so you can use them in an action to gain a card and to gain special circumstances. Can you open the door, Sam? And also, there should be right outside the door, like near that door over there. There should be an AC control to the left. Do you see that? Can you turn it on?
Well, piffle.
I think the cast members who were here earlier turned it off.
So, these whisperers, those are the things drawing us?
The Whisperer Gestalt, yeah.
Mhm.
The whisper gestalt.
So there's 3 whisperers, and they have. Let's see. I have a whisper card that I grabbed here. Whisperers look like this. I'm gonna show them that.
They're gross.
They're very gross.
I almost certainly want that shard.
Mm-hmm. And there are 3 of them in the Gestalt, and they're all sort of like hovering there. And they have a lot of health, so be aware of that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way we can let them stay alive, undead, whatever you want to call it. But I can't be involved. I should have left the shard on the ship. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right. One of you needs to take the torch and get started. What do you want to do?
Not me.
The shard still, by the way, doesn't have enough like movement to like move the bag. So if you want to like throw the bag somewhere, it's not gonna like drag itself over to them. At least it doesn't appear to be able to now.
Sure.
Okay. Well, overturned tables. Chandelier. Is this chandelier on a nice, sturdy chain?
Well, there's several of them, and if you want it to be, then
Seven
it
of them.
certainly is. Yes.
Well, Ink's actually going to take an action and duck behind the overturned tables and become hidden.
Okay. So that's fine, and then you're gonna. So you took the torch for that, and then
Yep.
so
If,
okay.
whoever wants it.
Cram that shard into one of those gears. Leave it there.
Who wants it?
Interesting idea, Ink.
Well, I've got this innocent that, like, I would charge in, but
You could hand off the innocent, too.
could I?
The Eerie's talent is it's kind of like a meat hook, but there's kind of a blade on the outside of it, and it's attached to a very long chain. At the other end of the chain is some sort of like a weighted sort of knife type thing.
It's a kumagiri or whatever. No.
A kusarigama, similar to it. Yeah, yeah. He's gonna whip the chain over the chandelier and just go swinging in, and just gonna try and knock one of the chanters out of the air.
Okay.
He's gonna swing from the chandelier.
So you can flip your talent if you want, because you made a melee attack. So that's going to move you up to +3 attack.
Also, let's not forget we have these.
So what is and you're using which of your? You only have one fighting style.
Yeah.
Which,
Alright.
if you're watching, you can give us more rerolls too by using your XP.
That's right.
Just saying.
By the way.
It'll probably be in a future, one of your next upgrades. You pick one. So you can use 2 strength or grace, plus 3 attack.
Ten
So-
total.
10 total. Yep. So you swing out, you wrap it around the, to cross off the chandelier and draw a card from that.
Great.
You swing across on the chain and you kick into one of the, you approach one of the Whisperer Gestalt, but as you're approaching it, like you feel a wave of telekinetic force reach out and basically just buffet you away. And so you sort of fly off and you land deftly on the ground, but your attack does not hit. Do you have any more spreads to make, or do you want to pass the torch?
Yeah, no, I'll pass it.
Okay, so draw back up to full, and you drew from your using the chandelier, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you draw up to full. The Whisper Gestalt, is rotating in place. The 3 of them almost sort of like locking arms, and they're going to use. They basically grab. Like a fistful of of a broken barricade, or not a fistful, but like a table's worth of broken barricade, and they're going to throw it at you. So this is a ranged attack against you, and it is attack value 14.
Phew.
Oh my goodness.
But it's not an all or nothing, so whatever you can do to benefit it, you're fine.
All right. All right. I'll do 6.
Okay. Okay, so that would be. Can you do any better than that at all?
How?
Um,
You mean burn sparks? Try to get up to. Okay.
I know you can't
gotcha.
burn sparks, but do you have any traits you want to throw on that, or does anyone else want to push them into cover?
Push him into cover.
Anyone have traits that they want to burn on this?
Well, despite how you screwed me,
What do you use?
I may discard this card to add 3 to a wingmate's spread.
Okay, so go ahead. So it's 3 plus 8 is 11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's only going to be 3 damage, because she basically. So you command him get out of the way, right? So you.
In an accent.
Yes, in an accent, in a totally different
In a
accent
totally
than you
different
previously
accent.
had.
Yeah.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Oh, get out of the way!
Get out of the way, eh?
Hey.
Get yourself out of the way.
Hey, hoser.
Get out of the
Get
way.
over
Get
the
out
way.
of the way. Eh?
Look out for that debris, hoser. And so that's 3 damage divided by 2, which is your defense, which is 1. So get rid of 1 and take 1 health level damage, which is way better than the 8 you would have otherwise taken.
Wow.
So you're good. And who do you pass the torch to? Oh, sorry, the Whispers are also going to Piercing Whisper. They can't see you, you're hidden. They're going to Piercing Whisper you. This is a attack of 10, all or nothing. Can you defend against 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, no.
No.
Okay.
I cannot.
So take a wound and add that to your deck.
Oh my
As
gosh.
they drive the whisper into your brain, or the chant into your brain.
Take
Much
a
like
what?
your friend did. Take a wound, put that on that, yeah, right like that.
Thanks,
In my
friend.
defense, that was mostly unintentional.
Mostly.
What does this? What does this mean? Am I like?
No, it's just they're basically like trying to get you to become a chanter, which they can't do because you're a phoenix.
Okay.
But they can drive the chant into you, which means that like it will slowly damage you. It basically is like turning off your spark. So like the more that you think about the chant or say the chant, the less the phoenix energy is able to sort of keep you alive.
And this is not a condition. This is a
No, that is affliction. Yeah. Conditions are stuff like being enraged or exposed.
Okay. Can I take this? Is it my turn?
Do
Are
you
you still
want
doing
it?
stuff?
Yeah, if you want. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, what? How do you get hidden?
You you use an ability to hide, or if you want to hide behind something, you can. I'll let you like cross off an environmental object to hide behind it.
Hide behind them corpses.
Yeah.
Can I hide behind the corpses?
Sure. So go ahead and don't take a card, but just cross off that, and you can sort of like bury yourself in the corpses, and
That seems about right.
What is happening
that
here?
is very much in keeping with your character. Yeah.
Wait. Can I hand off this innocent to someone who's hiding?
No.
Protect them like you protected the wolves against the babies.
Okay.
The baby wolves against the humans or whatever.
The pack of wild humans.
Yeah.
Do you want it?
All right. Will you take this innocent
Sure.
off my hands for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'm gonna run at them and throw my sword in their faces.
Okay.
And if I can get close enough, I'm gonna karate chop like crazy.
All right.
Show all these people how awesome karate is.
I'm gonna treat that as a melee attack, even though it's because you're kind of throwing it as you get there.
Yeah.
So whatever your combat style says, you can play that many cards of whatever type it tells you can play.
When you use this card in an attack spread, add your current health levels to the value of the card. You burn one. If you burn one spark, the target must attack you on its next action. I have no intention of drawing the attack.
Okay.
I don't think I need to, but that makes that 5 + 4 9,
Okay.
which is as good as I can do.
Which is 9. Okay. Well, that trait doesn't count towards the spread because you used it. So if you want to put another strength card in, you can.
I can?
Yeah.
Well, I can use any card as a strength card, regardless of its actual suit.
All right. So
12.
what's that?
12.
Yeah.
12.
12. All right. That takes off a whole health level, which is
Right.
that's the number you need. So you you run up and manage to sort of like push through, and you slice into one of the chanters, and they sort of spin out and then reconnect, and you land on your feet. Do you want to make any more spreads, or?
Can I? No.
All right. So draw back up to full and pass the torch.
Do I need to make a defense spread in this, or only when I'm attacked?
Only when you're attacked.
Okay.
So those go discarded. Who's getting it?
Well, I can attack from range while I'm holding on to the innocent, so I don't have to get in close as long as I use my fire shaping.
Okay.
So I'm gonna look at the disgusting bloated corpse of Shawn Belter, and it's just gonna burn me up inside because I know that this is a soldier who was a coward. This is a soldier who was garbage. This is a soldier without passion, and this is a soldier who did not care about the men and women underneath him, and just didn't have a care for the world that he could create beyond himself. This is a person without vision.
Thanks,
Wow,
Chad.
Oh, good.
Deep cut, yo.
Yeah, very.
So you
yeah,
can
it's
draw
all-
a card from using that environmental object, from using that Shawn Belter.
Yeah.
and
Thank you, Chad.
I will make this brutal damage because you were so inspired by the failures that is Shawn Belter.
Yeah,
Garbage
Shawn
human.
Belter is garbage. Donovan Belter is great.
So you can make a spread of 3 because you are enraged. So 3 grace cards. 3 intellect cards.
Okay, but I'm going to use a grace card as I have the Fire and Blood talent. So when I use this card in a spread, you can burn 1 spark to add 4 to the value of the spread.
Okay.
So I'll do that.
Yep. What's the card?
It is astonishing luck.
All right, and that's not going to count against the spread either because you're using it. So you're hitting them exactly where it hurts. So you can actually put 3 more cards in there, including 1 more grace.
I really wish I could. I don't think I can put a grace in
No,
it.
because that one's not counting towards the spread.
Oh, so this doesn't count. Well, because it says when you make a spread, you can use any one card as an intellect card,
Yes,
regardless.
but that's
of
a
its
trait. So.
Oh, so
and
I
you
can-
justified its use, so it doesn't
Yep.
count.
Great. Then I'm going to use. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to include Call Lightning in my spread. When you use this card in a spread, draw a card. When you use it in an attack spread, ignore your target's defense.
Damn. All right.
Oh,
That's actually literally all I can do.
beautiful.
Like if you have any other, that still doesn't count against.
I know, but,
So do you have an intellect card or a grace card?
I mean, I have 2
Oh, sorry.
traits.
Draw a card.
Oh, right.
Does
That's
draw
right. It
lightning.
does let me draw a card. Great. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay.
All
So,
right.
so we'll go Grace, or we'll do Astonishing Luck and Call Lightning got used, and then I'll drop this intellect card down.
Okay, so that's the numerical cards. There are 8,
8,
and then
9, 10, and then I get to add 4 because I burned the spark. So that's 14, and I have +2 attack from my Valoria.
okay,
So that makes 16. Did I count right?
16, yeah, and that's 16 brutal damage.
Ignoring defense.
Ignoring defense.
Defense.
So you sort of like, push your mortal charge
Vesta.
behind your back,
Yeah.
and just terribly destructive phoenix fire flows from you, as well as it's calling lightning from the
Right.
coils all around the room. It's blasting this thing just as the whisper gestalt was taking a breather and being like, "I'll be oh no!" And so it hits it really hard, and so that divide that by 6. What is that?
What was the number? 16.
2.5.
Yeah.
2.5. So it's 3
Oh, it's 3.
because it's brutal damage.
Oh, nice.
Brutal damage.
So that's So you can see one of the 3 whispers in the gestalt sort of falls out, and now there's just 2 of them.
Okay. Do you mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh
so-
wait, no, sorry. Do you have anything to do? Do you have more spreads?
No, that was adequate.
Okay.
Draw back up too.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
No worries. Okay, so Ink is actually going to take Eerie's advice, and he's going to jam the pouch with the Chant shard in one of the gears closest to him. And then he's actually going to run up and attempt to... Actually, no, he's not going to do that. That's his action. He's going to do that.
You're gonna do that. You're gonna put the thing in the gears.
Yep.
Draw a card from
All
using
right.
the gears.
Great. Watch as I draw a card.
And all right, getting ready. So this cycle is over. Oh, sorry. And after you, the Whisper Gestalt is going to go.
Okay.
They are going to attempt to grab you
That
with
makes
a telekinetic grab. Automatic hit. This reduces the amount of cards you can put in any spread by 1 card, and you take 1 wound at the start of their action, which isn't now. And then they are going to throw they're going to throw. I can't throw the moon pool. They're going to throw.
There's the crate of rum.
That's
There's a
true.
crate of rum.
They are going to throw the
How did I
rum.
forget to drink some rum?
See, and I was going to get some for the cabin,
Yeah.
but I don't think that's going to
So
happen
they
now.
throw the rum. The crate of rum skids along the floor and then takes off into the air and flies at you. So make a defense spread. You can make a defense spread of 1 less because you're enraged.
Right. What am I looking? What am I looking to?
This is not an all or nothing. So you.
Okay, so just as high as I can get.
Well, actually, I'm not
In
hidden
the
now
fray!
It's only 1
jumped
card
out
though.
and put the thing in the gear.
This is
Boy.
how you make good stories.
Yeah, but you remember you can use a trait, which wouldn't
Yeah.
count against
This
it.
is how you make good stories. When other people are hiding, you get in there and you start karate chopping whatever you can reach. This is the story I'm going to tell from now on.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
trades just really aren't helpful here.
Okay.
One time
that
I was in the
happens.
belly of the ghost ship, much
I can
like
burn
the
a spark to
movie
flip
of the
this card,
same
though, right?
name.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna burn a spark and flip it.
Okay.
And I was with
So
4
I've got-
babies.
So let's do
Yeah.
okay.
So at least I've got something. I've got 6.
All right.
Not great, but
So
that's what I
that is 8 divided by 2. That would be 4 wounds unless someone wants to dive in and do something
oh
to
boy,
stop that.
guys.
I cannot.
Got so many cards in your hand. you
I know, I do. I have a trait that I'd like to use, and I'm going to try and justify it.
can't- Okay.
So, seeing that Kelvin is kind of, up Schitt's Creek, if you will. Ink leaps from behind the tables and kind of envelops him in his cloak to make him kind of phase out of reality for a second. And I would like to use Untouchable, which adds 5 to the defense.
Oh, perfect. I'll let you do it. That sounds great.
Cool.
So instead of 8, that's 3, which is 1. So go ahead and reduce that to 1. Yep.
Cool.
Oh,
So
that's so much better.
But you know what? I'll let you do it if you take a wound.
I'll take a wound.
All right. Yeah. So it hits you both because he.
Wait,
enveloped
Kelvin! Ah! Yeah.
All right. Great.
As he pulls me to the side, I make very brief eye contact with him and
it's a
nod
homoerotic moment.
slightly.
Homoerotic moment.
I don't think that's
Yeah,
homoerotic.
yes.
I think that's
Yes. Beans looks over and says, "Yes."
no, because
homoerotic
homoerotic
moment.
is when you don't know that Kelvin is Kelvin is not afraid at all to show his homophobic or no, that's not oh God, no, I meant
And
You know
Ink
what?
quits the
Homoerotic.
team.
oh boy.
We got that donation from Freud in the chat.
Oh no, that's not what I meant.
No.
He is not afraid of men. He loves his fellow man. Oh boy. Okay.
So it's just erotic, is what you're saying.
It's just
Just
erotic.
erotic, okay.
It's
Yeah.
just erotic.
I
Yeah.
believe the
Straight
word
up.
you're looking for is agape, which is something that Roman soldiers used to feel for each other.
Is that
And-
true?
Yes.
See, that's what I was trying to.
Yes, exactly. As opposed to eros, which is
Yeah, no,
sexy
but-
love. This
Yeah.
is spiritual
But
love.
Beans
Yeah.
is still going to interrupt this fight to go.
Talked our way into that one pretty good, folks.
Oh boy.
Great. Pass the torch. Oh, start with pass the torch. So a new cycle. So anyone
new
can grab
cycle?
it and take your card back.
Yes, Shawn, take your card back.
Oh, that's my card.
Gimme.
You got it.
Okay, so you were held, it's like sort of like held up off the ground.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to do something.
I'm fighting them with my hands.
Oh, I don't draw back.
Well,
up
that
from
you're,
defense,
they're
though,
holding
right?
you back.
Correct.
Oh, they're holding me back.
Yeah,
Do I
so
have my sword anymore?
You have it. It comes back to you if you
And I
use
can't
it.
reach them though.
If you spend a spark, you can use it as a ranged attack. It's gonna burn a spark. All right. So you're throwing it back at them again.
Yeah.
All right. Do
And
your
my
best.
attack is now reduced to 1 card.
Yeah. It's reduced by 1 card. So if that's 1 card, that's what it is.
Okay, so I'm going to play this,
Which is what?
which is tough as nails. Draw 1 card when you use this card in the spread, which I need. During this turn, you may burn 1 spark and discard this card to remove all conditions affecting you, which I don't think any of this.
Well,
You're
Helms.
immobilized by
Yeah.
this card. So if you burn a spark, I'll let you break out of their condition because you're touching nails. So you actually don't need. You know what? Keep that
Okay.
because if you use tough as nails, you don't need to make a ranged attack because you'd like
I just
push
bust
the out of
out.
there. Yeah, you.
And then I slash them.
I'm gonna
super
karate chop
fast.
you like a wolf's neck.
Guys, it gets like super slow motion, and I'm like a wolf's
It is-
neck, and I'm just like,
It's actually literally
Leap
in
into
slow
the air.
motion because she's fighting through the telekinesis.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and I'm doing that. I leap, and I do that like
All 300 style?
yeah, like all
Yeah.
300 style,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
All right.
and then my scream changes accent as I go.
All right.
Yo!
Take a spark back for the accent changing, and you can go ahead and actually put two cards in the spread.
I feel like at
because-
the end of it there has to be like a rebel holler.
Yeehaw!
Okay, so this is what I got. This is the strongest I
Alright,
can hit.
so
with.
it is 8.
Yeah.
8 total. That bounces off their defense, but you did escape from their. Oh wait, did that add to the spread as well? Tough as nails. Did it say it added it or just removed conditions?
Just remove it's I get to draw a card and remove conditions.
Okay, yeah. So that's where you're at. So
Yeah.
no, you just
I
you just
figured.
bounce off them, but you definitely you escape their grasp, which is great because you won't take damage next turn. So go ahead and discard that. Do you have another spread in you, or are you going to pass the torch?
I am going to pass the torch.
I'll take it. All right, so Ink getting up from the ground and unfurling his cape so he faces back into reality is like, this chick is toast. I'm actually going to use one of these.
Okay, draw a card.
Okay.
Thank you, chat.
Thank you,
Yeah,
chat.
thank you, chat.
All right, so what do we got here? I got 3 intellect, which is not great. I'm using this grace card trait, astonishing luck, which adds 4. So that's 7. And then I'm going to throw 5 grace on top of that, so that's 12.
12,
Yeah.
which is just enough to put a wound on them.
So basically, he runs up to him and he writes down. Yeah.
All right.
And that is literally all I can do.
Okie dokie. So draw back up to 6,
Yep.
which is your max. And then pass the torch. Oh, sorry. So 1, 2. So the Whisperer is going to respond by putting you in a telekinetic lock, so you're grabbed up.
Okay.
So that'll reduce your spreads by 1.
Okay.
And then is going to Piercing Whisper Shawn. So you need to make a defense spread of 10. You're still enraged, so you're still.
This is a real problem for me because I do not have a single grace card in my hand, which
Okay.
is
You could. Well,
problematic.
it's all or nothing,
but,
right?
But if you can only put 1 card out, you'll never make it, so you might as well just take the affliction and the wound.
Yeah.
So put that in your discard and take the wound. As the Whisper Gestalt forces the chant into your head, and you're suddenly connected to the terrible hypnotic power of the chant. All right, now you can pass the torch. So who? What's that?
So ready for this next.
just
I know,
gotta
I
get through
know.
this
I
cycle.
finally got good cards.
Okay, what do you got, Chan?
Is she like within this globe of protection, or is she just kind of pushed towards it and?
Oh, who?
Beans.
Oh, you mean is she in their globe of protection?
Yeah, like within this sphere, or is she just sort of pushed up against it?
Oh yeah, no. If you got in there and hit them with a melee attack, no, you didn't hit. So no, yeah, you just sort of bounced off it. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. You so they're basically holding you. You know how you were like moving in slow
Yeah, yeah.
motion? Well, that just sort of trickles out too soon, and then you're like, okay, and you're like a little ways back, and they're
yeah,
sort of.
but I'm like glaring at them real hard and scaring them with my eyes.
What do you got?
I'm going to leap at them, try and wrap the chain around one of their necks and drag them into the pool.
Okay, do it. All right, so
you're using the moon pool then?
yeah. So draw a card from using the moon pool. And what do you have for an attack spread?
That is a question. Um,
Can you hand one of those cokes, Shawn? Sorry.
blur of motion. I'm
Okay.
gonna try and
Yep.
sneak in when they're not paying attention, or they're paying attention to this weirdo who's.
Beans!
Yes. Beans! Occasionally I just yell that.
Sure.
I'm like frozen and I'm like, beans! In a different accent each time.
I use small and quick to keep darting.
Makes sense.
3, 5, 6, 8, 11, and then burn a spark for 12.
Okay.
Damn.
So that'll get rid of one wound level on it, and you manage to drag one of the whisperers down into the moon pool. And as you are like hitting the water, and you're now 40 feet below sea level, you're like 40 feet below the water, but you're like splashing into the water. Whatever power was animating the whisperer is gone. You've reduced the gestalt down to one whisperer, so you've killed this one of them essentially. But you're also now underwater, which is fine.
Fair enough.
That's okay. Do you want to do any more spreads before you pass the torch?
Near.
Okay. So you've gone. So it's got to be Kelvin.
Okay.
What do you got, Kelvin?
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to. All right. So I'll keep using my fire shaping for the time being, and attack at range. I can add additional cards at the cost of 1 per spread. I don't have a lot of cards in my hand, so that isn't necessarily great, but draw 1 card when you use this card in a spread. It's a trait. I can also burn a health level to regain 4 sparks, but that does not make sense for me to do that, so I'm not going to.
What's that trait?
This is, oh wow, that makes an awful lot of sense. Cursed.
Cursed.
So how does this play out? I mean, you can definitely talk me into this,
Sure.
or you can use it as a 1. but I mean, you know.
Yeah,
Well, actually,
yeah.
you can't because you have to use it as a trade or it won't, or you
Yeah.
don't have any space in your spread.
So I, as soon as I kind of look around at the situation we're in, and I realize we just did a ton of work to take down this one thing. And I realize that we may not be numerically outnumbered, but we are certainly outmatched. We're in a tough spot, and I've been in this spot before. In fact, the vast majority of the time when I'm on a mission or when I have been on a mission, I've been outmatched. That's my lot in life. I realize that my lot in life is to do things that are beyond my own ability and beyond the ability of my comrades. No offense to you, but you're not good enough for this, and neither
Beans
am I.
doesn't believe that at all.
All right. Well, you had a sad, and that justifies that. So go ahead and be cursed. So can you add any more to that?
Well, I can draw a card, and I can use a grace card because of my fire and blood talent. So I'm going to include the grace card. That makes my third card, and I'm allowed to use 3 cards because I am enraged.
Oh, nice.
Boy.
You got it. That's a wound level there. You don't need to push yourself any further, because you'll do 6. Will get through its defense, and then you'll do over 6 more. So you'll
Sure.
get 1 more wound.
Okay. Good deal.
So so you blast it with a burst of fire, and you can see the charred cinders are some of the fire is like pushed away by the telekinesis, and then the rest of it sort of sneaks in. Vesta is like running behind you and like hiding behind objects and trying her best to avoid problems.
Kelvin, bring her to me.
And now it is the lone whisperer who is going to. Oh, so are you still telekinetically grabbed?
Oh yeah, I guess I can't take her. Sorry.
Take a
That's
wound
okay.
Yeah, I'm
from
taking a
being
wound.
crushed by telekinetically grabbed.
Arg, I'm crushed from taking a
yeah.
telekinetic.
Free, right?
Right, but they're wrapping you up again on their turn, so
It's their turn now?
Yeah, that's their telekinetic action is to grab you up in there. So you're grabbed again, and then they are going to. That's his only action. There's only one. He's down to 1, so he can't. I'm not going to give him an additional action. So you're both held, and now it's the top of the round. Take your cards back.
So I burn a spark again
oh,
to try
sorry.
and break the hold? Or-
Did you use an ability to do that? Yeah, you used
Yeah, I
a
did
card to
use
do
the
that.
ability. Never mind.
So now you're going to have to ranged attack him. So just burn a spark to make a ranged attack.
Okay.
So my deck is now officially empty.
So
just reshuffle.
Shuffle it and grab 5. And if you draw the affliction, let me know.
You guys don't mind if I hit this thing that's right in front of me?
Yeah,
No,
do it.
please.
Do it to it.
Okay, so I'll burn a spark for a range attack. Throw in my sword. I'm going to begin with this. Draw 1 card when you use this card in a spread. If you use it in an attack spread, you deal brutal damage until the end of the round.
What is it?
Killer instincts.
Killer instincts? Yeah, I buy it. You don't need to justify that. You have killer instincts.
Yeah.
This is a lot like a wolf.
Yeah. I know.
You
that's
and
my
Varya
sword.
are going to get along great.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about those times I killed all those wolves? Cut to giant phoenix fight.
I am then going to follow that up with crude but effective, which I think fits with throwing a sword at somebody.
Damn straight.
This card has a value of 5 when it is used in an attack spread.
So that's 9, right?
It's 4.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
So 5 for that one, and then how much is the grace card worth?
It's worth brutal damage.
Okay. So it's 6 brutal damage.
Uh-huh. And then I can add 1 more card to that, correct?
No, you can add whatever what is your attack value?
Well, my attack value is 2, but I'm down 1.
Yeah, so 1.
So 3.
Okay. So that's a total of 8 brutal damage. That's fine because it's brutal. It'll push the wound through.
Exactly.
So you do 1 more damage to them. It's looking very much worse for wear, and you're still held. What do you want? Do you want to do any
I'm
more?
done.
Do you have any more
Yeah.
spreads in you?
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to try and break the telekinetic grasp. So.
You think you can do that? If you hit it with that intent, then you can sacrifice doing a wound to it to force it to. So all you have to do is break its defense,
Okay.
and then you'll no wound, but you'll get free.
And I'm down 1 card because I'm held, right? So I'm going to burn 2 sparks to make it 6.
Okay, you need 1 more then, because you gotta get
Oh, right.
past its defense.
Okay, there you go.
All right, so 3 sparks in, and it. Yeah. So how do you do it?
I just kind of scribble the words out or something like that. Yeah.
And it drops you. Okay, so you're freed.
Cool. Pass the
Um,
torch.
So it's gonna attack on this turn because 2 of you went. It still has you roped up, right? So you take a
Yeah.
wound from that. And then it is going to attack. It's going to throw another giant handful of broken barricade at your human ward there, who I want to call Varya because we have a character in it.
Vesta.
At Vesta.
And Vesta.
So you can make a defense spread to sort of push her out of the way if you want, or let her take it. But
That's not a good idea. Oh boy, this is going to be tough because my defense right now is I can only drop one card. Oh boy. Okay. But traits don't count as part of the spread.
exactly that.
Okay, so. Okay, I'm going to start with superhuman reflexes, and that
makes
really
sense.
is not so much that I'm superhuman, but because I'm just so incredibly well trained as a soldier that it's not. It's more situational awareness.
Okay. Does that have a special effect when you use
It
this?
does. So I can burn a spark actually to draw a card, which I'm absolutely going to do, because goddamn do I need it. Oh, that's not gonna do it. Boy. Okay. Well. All right, and then I'll drop that. So.
For 5.
Yeah, that's. I'm sorry for myself. That's the best I can do.
Okay, so
Oh, I've got actually my Valoria.
5, 6, 7.
Yeah. So.
So that's only 7. That's
Yeah.
7, which is. Can anyone else? Oh, okay. So you have 2 choices. This will still probably take you out unless someone else can add to this spread for you, or you can realize that you're not gonna get Vesta out of this and let her take her share of it, and then you'll still be up. But otherwise,
Is her share of it going to kill her?
yeah, probably. But it will kill you otherwise, because you're going to take we'll say a piano for fun. You're going to take
Yeah.
a piano in the face.
Okay, and Vesta's purpose here is what?
I see where this is going.
I'm going from a military mindset.
Yeah, no. Vesta just came along to help you with some of the mechanics on the ship, but she's okay.
Oh my
I'm
god.
sorry, but
Whoa.
this is an issue of
Oh
our
my
duty
gosh.
is our duty is to deal with this ship, and I'm more able to. Listen, you put the mask on yourself before somebody else.
Says that I can only do it on my turn.
What's that?
This says that I can only do this on my turn, which is I burn a spark to appear next to one of my wingmates. Could I use it in a circumstance like this to just leap and take that hit?
I'll let you do it. But why? Why does if you can tell me why you do it, I'll let you do it.
Because we've been traveling with Vesta for a while now, and while I have, for the most part, I don't care for people. After enough time with them, I do feel like the very few people that don't make me, want to spit. I really want to, keep them alive.
All right, so shadow walking suddenly from where you are to where they are. You're not even hidden too. You're going right through this ability. You basically you dive towards Vesta. You know that it's not going to be enough, so you mid-air adjust to try and protect yourself. You're still going to take some of the, you're still taking most of it, but you know that, keys from the piano are going to filter through your arms.
Yeah.
But there's nothing you can do. And just as the keys would be splashing into Vesta's face and breaking her neck, you see Eerie is there taking it. So take a wound for her, and there you go.
And how many wounds do I get?
You get 2.
Okay.
That's a special. You
Um,
saved her.
Yes, I did. You're welcome.
Collectively, you saved her. I will. That's not wrong. It's not spiritually right. Emotionally, that's not how this happened. So they did a crush on you and threw on you, right? So that's
Vesta
all.
will understand the choice I made.
Yes,
We both come from a
as you
military
explained
background.
ad nauseum on the rest of the trip home. Okay, so just thought I'd stop by your cabin and remind you again why I made the choice I made.
We'll have a conversation about
Who
it.
takes the torch? Is this cycle over? It is. So who wants the torch? Anyone can have it. I'm gonna take your cards back, Shawn.
Yes. Gonna see that affliction soon.
You don't draw up to your turn anyway, so.
Yeah.
One of you has to have it. This thing is on the ropes.
What does it take to break this grip?
Well,
Because
he
I'm-
just had me beat her defense, which is 6.
I can't beat crap because I'm down a card.
Sure.
There's not really anything I can do.
Honestly, I can't.
Can I take the torch and like be like, oh, I can't do anything. Someone
Or
help
maybe
me.
one of them can free you up before your turn comes around.
I don't have anything I can do.
Yeah, I don't really have anything I can do right now either.
It's going to have to be Eerie then.
Well,
Eerie's at it.
this is gonna be ugly.
All right.
But, yep, he's just gonna crawl out of the piano wreckage and go running straight for him, just diving right at him.
Okay. Go ahead.
Survivor, because I mean I've had worse things
Yeah, you're a
thrown at me in
survivor.
my lifetime.
You can draw a
So-
Survivor too, I think, because you're using a trait in combat.
Oh right. Oh. Yeah. Let's do this instead.
Oh wow.
Oh.
9, 12.
Please
Yep.
be dead.
Okay.
That's as good as I can do.
Almost got it. All right, so you you put one on it and one more. You have one more action before it's going to go again. Vesta's like pushing herself out of the remaining
Here,
piano.
I'm gonna
rope.
burn a spark right now because I know I'm gonna need the extra attack. So I'm just gonna flip this.
Mhm.
All right. I'll take the. I assume you guys aren't gonna take the torch. right?
No.
Can't
Okay.
do anything.
You're right.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna burn my cursed. That's how you pronounce that, right?
Yes.
Right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cursed trait. I can be more depressing if you want me to go over that again.
No, I got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
War is hell.
Right.
My life has not gotten substantially better since the last round of combat. I'm with you.
Mom always said. Mom fucking always said.
And then I've also got Mysterious, which I think is fair because I haven't really gone too much into what it is that put me into this grizzled state that I'm in. You could probably guess it's a grizzled veteran, but still. So I'm going to draw for both of those, but I'm not going to use the option that it gives me for either of them because it's not going to happen. And I'm going to burn another spark to add an additional card to my attack spread, which I can do through fire shaping. Because of my fire and blood talent, I can add grace instead of an intellect card. So this is where I'm at. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do I count the numbers from the traits or
Yeah.
no? Okay, so 13, 14.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Well, how are you going to copyright Matt Mercer? How are you going to do this?
Okay,
They
so
make a shirt of that, by the way. I really mean it's copyright Matt Mercer. I probably should not be saying that anymore. You love me, Matt. You're not going to sue.
well, but and that's
What would
you're
you like
also
to happen?
what would you like to happen?
In which way would you like this death to take place?
I mean, also people are probably furiously Googling that now because they're like, oh, you can buy a shirt that's that? I didn't know that either, so I'll have to check out that the shirt situation. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just I step past Vesta, and at this point, I am no longer concerned with Vesta as my ward. I'm not protecting Vesta anymore. I just step up, point blank to this thing, and just you can just see Kelvin just pulling cold energy from his environment, pulling it actually from the water, pulling coldness from the water, and then just blasting cold fire into this thing. Just calm as can be, though. Just pulling and just, and then straightens himself, pulls out his sword, sees if it's going to attack, because he's a soldier first. He got his sword ready, and then holsters it when it appears the thing isn't coming back up.
All right. You can go ahead and remove your enraged condition because you're able to calm yourself by besting that enemy.
Kelvin, are you all right?
Not in great shape. I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 2 right now.
Yo.
Am
you're
I
free.
out of the
Oh
script?
yeah. It's dead.
I will. I'm going to immediately
Mm-hmm.
karate chop all over it, even though I know it's dead. I'm gonna be like, hey, yeah, yeah, and take that.
Of course.
Karate.
Karate chop.
I'm gonna
all
give
over.
you a spark back because I didn't realize that you were underwater when you used that shadow walk. So I'll totally count that as hidden, as you were basically not on the boat anymore. So way to go. So good job, that. So you managed to put down the Whisper Gestalt, and you can feel the energy that was like pushing the boat against your ship is sort of dissipated, but the shard isn't here.
My shard? Or
no, your shard's
okay.
fine.
Okay.
Your shard's still
You're the
clenched
one
and
that's
still there.
supposed to retrieve
But the
it.
shard that must be empowering this one is still not here.
Can we take 5 real quick? Because I need to use the restroom.
Oh, you got it.
Is that okay?
I just drew it.
Oh, you go. Use the rest. We'll take a break. Yeah, we'll take 5. But go ahead and so put that back in your discard pile, draw a card, and take a wound.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
Wait, what does that mean?
Oh,
Wait,
good
what
lord.
happens?
Well, for all the good work that Kelvin just did, he basically like turns around to you guys and says the chant to you, and then drops dead.
That's what the affliction card does.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you're still here. So you have enough sparks to
Sparks,
maintain
yeah.
yourself
That
as
one
an
wasn't
attendant
me.
spirit.
No, that wasn't you, but that's gonna happen
well,
to me.
Here's the unfortunate thing: is you need to pick someone in this room to chant at. So one of them gets either add an affliction to one of their decks or kill Vesta by turning her into a chant.
Okay,
mob.
that I'm not gonna do.
Okay, so one of your compatriots gets a
Well,
chant.
the shrouded bond. The other thing it does is one of your wingmates dies, you may take their skill specialties card and use it until they're reborn. So just bring it over here, and then I can
Yeah.
also.
He's not dead quite yet, so you keep it until then. But yes, you can definitely do that because he's still an attendant spirit. So first off, someone gets this, and then you attend someone. So you get to choose the person that you're going to attend, and you can burn sparks for them.
Gotcha. I know you already have one in
I
your
have
deck.
2.
You have 2 in your deck. I think I'm gonna.
Okay.
I feel bad because he's not even here.
Let's not tell him. We
gonna
won't
come
even
back.
shuffle it in. Just be surprised.
Just
Chat says, shove all the chants into Eerie, which is the worst turn of phrase. But sadly. Here, you can get one more spark back, though, for dying an
Can't
incredibly
spell
heroic
chant
death.
without-
That's
Yeah.
heroic.
So you and so
it's
who
not
do
about being heroic. It's about doing a job and completing it exactly to the point that you needed to.
Oh, we're gonna give you an elemental death then. But who are you attending?
Let's see. I think as a soldier, I think I most appreciate the Durant. In fact, if I were completely in control of what I could have been, I would have been a Durant. But sometimes things don't work out how they're supposed to.
Okay.
So I'm gonna attend to the Durant.
All right. So you
I respect Durants.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
and you guys have been partnered up several times before.
Yeah.
Yeah, most recently, yeah.
So you can talk to Beans telepathically, and if you want, if she allows it, you can speak through her to other people.
You're lucky. I
and,
like talking, even if it ain't my words.
Even if it ain't my words, good to know.
You can burn your sparks to increase any spread that she makes, including defense spreads, which you normally cannot do.
Right.
And you take one trait from. If you don't have a trait in your hand, you can pull one trait out of your deck.
I do.
And then if that trait applies to any spread that she makes, you can double the effectiveness of sparks burned to that effect.
Oh wow.
So
Wow.
while
This is
you
gonna
were
be helpful.
gone,
Check, check. Check, check.
while you were gone, Kelvin fell to the chant.
Right, I heard that.
And then which he chanted at you, so you have a chant in your discard pile.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah,
Great, thanks.
and now he is attending Beans.
All right.
So, just a quick question about the game. So, this character is going to come back a level stronger next time. But does that happen the next game?
It happens the next morning,
The next morning?
but it also happens at the Grand Airy in Pyre.
And as
Way
we're in the
far
middle
away.
of the ocean,
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and so there's no way for them
See.
to get him out to you
Okay.
under any circumstances in a timely fashion.
you went
so.
down awesomely.
Yeah, you destroyed a Whisper Gestalt pretty much single-handedly, especially if you include the damage you did to it in the other few attacks, and then you just basically turned around and died. And that's cool. Like, that's cinematic.
Yeah, well, I mean, as a soldier, there's this very cinematic thing for people who are movie geeks like me. There's this very cinematic thing where, like, you know, you're in the middle of a firefight and everything happens, and then at the end, everybody kind of checks themselves. And there's that
Right.
one soldier who didn't even realize that he had taken a gut wound. And then
Yeah.
as everybody's checking himself, like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I'm checked out, guys. Sorry.
And so it's like Wile E. Coyote. When you notice it suddenly kills you.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah.
like, what? Ah!
Yep.
Just like drop
I
dead.
didn't even know it was there until afterwards, and I looked down and I was like,
You're the person in the anime who's been slashed by a samurai, and then you just slide into the
yeah,
I thought this was a leaf on the wind death.
yeah.
Watch how I.
Yep. Didn't even get to finish. Watch how I. Well, that's good enough.
We love you, Alan Tudyk.
Okay, so I'm actually going to take the opportunity to use the restroom as well because we are taking a brief break. During that time, though, why don't you, both Teline and Shawn, pitch the chat on their two shows in case
Yes,
they
please.
don't actually see them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like our chat today is made up of people who watch all of our shows. But that
Yeah.
said, just in case.
That's always good.
Yeah.
I mean, I love doing my show.
And which show is that?
This is Dark Sun, which we play using the Dungeon World rules in the afternoons on Saturdays. And for those people who might not know what Dark Sun is, it's basically Mad Max but D&D. So it's real cool, and it's a world that has been destroyed by magic and the overuse of destructive magic, and it has a lot of kind of like hippie environmental green metaphors kind of mixed in there. It is not at all subtle. It is thrown in there very obviously, but you know, it's cool, and yeah, it's a fun setting. So yeah, arcane magic is generally seen as bad. Clerics get to use magic as kind of as normal. They have all their spells, but instead of being given them by gods, because the gods have abandoned Athos, the world of Dark Sun, because it's awful. Their magic, cleric magic, actually comes from the elements. So clerics choose to be either fire, water, air, or earth clerics, which is kind of cool. Paladins don't really exist because gods don't exist. So you can be like a crazy person who believes in gods and is a cleric. But yeah, it's a fun setting. There's a lot of little wrinkles that make it a lot of fun. Our setting currently is set in Tyr, which is a city that our season 1 players took back from a despotic, authoritarian sorcerer king, and is now run by a benevolent
Sorcerer king?
despotic sorcerer king. Yeah. So Eric Reichert, who played Yenin Markovich, was the person who became the next sorcerer king, and he's good, as near as we can tell.
Okay.
Yeah, and we gave him ultimate, or the party gave him, and the city gave him ultimate power because they were like, well, I mean, he's okay, so this should be fine.
He's not terrible. Sorry, two things. First of all, I went in on that.
Yeah.
And of all of the TSR original D&D settings and all the novelizations, I only ever bought one, and that was the first set in the Dark Sun universe.
Yes, Dark Sun
that
is amazing.
Dark Sun's got a really soft spot in my heart.
Yeah, you will come by and play Dark Sun. It's going to be amazing. I love it so much, and Dungeon World's really great for Dark Sun. Actually, I love the current iteration of D&D. D&D 5 is great, but Dungeon World just has, as best as you can accommodate that like old school feel of D&D, and have mechanics that aren't cumbersome.
Yeah.
Because like I loved second edition D&D for what it was, but if you go back and try and play it now, you're like, oh boy, these rules are tough to use.
Yeah. It's like driving an old Buick.
Yeah. So, but Dungeon World is really good for that, and the players are not indestructible with Dungeon World.
Okay. So, Never Tell Me the Odds podcast and show is Star Wars RPG. That's the show I'm in, and we are every other Friday. So we were last night, And after the show, you can catch us live and influence the action, which is really important because we keep fighting things that are way too strong for us.
That sounds
I
like a lot
play-
of the same
guys-
intro shows.
I play everyone's favorite Ewok, and everyone's favorite Ewok likes to eat people. So
I can buy
like,
that.
that's-
What? Who is everyone's favorite Ewok?
her name is Root Wriggles, and she was kidnapped off the moon of Endor and used in a circus for a while, and now she runs around eating sentient beings.
Just one more reason to be against circuses.
How do you feel about the theory that Endor was actually annihilated after the second Death Star?
That's not true.
Well,
So
okay.
you're an Ewok apocalypse apologist.
No, I don't believe it.
Okay.
Will
don't
you
believe
do
it.
Will you do a little bit of Ewok voice for us?
What is an Ewok voice?
Oh, it's Ewok.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So,
And you did that with a Cockney accent too. That was
yeah, that was a Cockney Ewok accent.
And right at the end, it felt like it changed.
Ewoks on the streets of London.
Yeah.
Definitely carried on the babies thing, too.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That was the Ewok version of that story.
Yeah, that was.
killed the wolves, ate the babies.
Yeah.
Never Tell Me the Odds is one of those shows that like has great levels. So it starts out with like this cool combat, it's cool Star Wars stuff, and then there'll just be like weird little in-character moments where like everyone just nails it. Definitely a great show.
Yeah.
What's the standing cast in that one now? Because I know
Gaurav,
it's changed
right?
up a little bit.
Gaurav is in. Drew has been out for a while, but he's supposed to be back. Terry, I don't know her last name. She plays Kavari. She's a lot of fun. It's been a little. It's not really ever the same cast week to week. I think it's because of summer. And people having vacations. I don't go on vacation.
LA
Or I should say,
is
Me
real
neither.
tough this
I
summer.
planned my vacation around Never Tell Me the Odds.
Nice.
Because I love it. And after the show, it comes out as a podcast.
Yes.
Big
And
fan of the Fantasy Flight setting or the rule set for Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
And
dice,
guys.
the
The
dice
dice.
are
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I originally when I was like looking into the new Star Wars FFG or whatever, I was like, really, you're gonna make me buy a new? I was upset.
And
I
they're
was like, this
$15.
Yeah.
felt like such a fucking money grab. And then when you don't worry, it is actually worth it. Like once you actually play with your dice, you're like, oh, this adds so much to it. This isn't
And
this isn't pointless.
Yeah, and it's not like Dungeons and Dragons where as you level up, you have to buy more and more dice.
Yeah.
See, here's what you do. Here's your life hack, gamers. You get the Force Awakens starter game, which comes with the dice set. You get it on Amazon, so it's only like $20. And as I read on the Fantasy Flight website yesterday, that is the only support they're giving that movie.
Oh wow.
So that's your collector's item. That's your dice right there, and then you can play Edge of the Empire, Force and Destiny, or Age of Rebellion.
And they also have the dice. They have a very good dice rolling app
Yeah.
that has
Yeah,
all the
that's
dice. Because Fantasy Flight loves proprietary dice. They have it for all their games.
Yeah.
They have it for the role-playing games. They have it for the minis games, and they're all different proprietary dice. Like you'd think they'd find a way to like cross-use them, but no,
Yeah.
separate dice for everything. And so they have one app that like costs like $5, and you can use them all.
Yeah.
So Never Tell Me the Odds is great. And then while I want to say I've been producing for Dungeon World now for like 6 months or whatever the hell it is, and I liked that show with the original cast because you've had
Yeah.
a season change.
Yeah.
And the new cast is even better.
Yeah.
Like I honestly could watch Oswald, your like
Oh, Jesus
easily
Christ.
convinced psychic warrior who just it's like if Don Quixote just fell for any con that like happened around and then
Yeah.
like willed like that reality into existence. So first he hated magic and he
Yeah.
was corrupted by magic.
Yeah.
But that was nothing you made happen as a DM. He just decided.
Yeah.
And then now he loves druidic magic and
Yeah.
will be a druid someday.
Yeah.
But that won't last 2 more games.
It takes so little to convince him of anything that he'll a random spirit, which by the way there's no evidence that the spirit that spoke to him was real because no one else in the party saw it. So like just one guy just like talked to a spirit for 5 minutes and it changed his worldview. And which by the way his worldview also changed like 2 weeks prior to that.
Right.
So he's just so suggestible. It's a lot of fun.
And Daryl's one of these performers who just blessedly realized that like he was born looking and sounding like some sort of dumb yokel.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
isn't that person, but
No.
is more than happy to play into that character. And so as a result,
I don't think Daryl would be upset for me to say, though, I'm not 100% sure that he isn't that dumb yokel. Like, it's just like when you interact with Daryl, you're like, I'm pretty sure you're a bright, well-adjusted, critical thinking man, but maybe you're not. Like, and Daryl is wonderful for that reason.
He may just be a confused sheriff's deputy who happened to wander to L.A. and is now like
Right.
being an actor until he gets called back to work.
Yeah.
But he's great, and your whole cast is great, and your previous cast was great, and what I actually would love to do with this show at some point, which you've done so well with them, is your previous cast still exists sort of in your world. So when they guest spot back on, it's like, hi, we're the level 9 characters that
Right.
like, you know.
It's this big Marvel universe, basically.
Yeah. It's in fact it certainly better than the DC universe, but definitely as close to the Marvel universe as you can get
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's not as bright and fun and cheery because it's Dark Sun as Marvel, but it's like, what if DC made choices that were like adequate?
Good?
And,
Yeah,
like,
you're right, yeah.
not even great, but like, because I know I'm not that smart, but like just baseline
adequate.
decent.
Yeah,
like
just
baseline
mediocre.
decent.
And I think Barky's this week did like a cross-time adventure. We're really pushing the bounds of storytelling
Right.
here on Saving Throw.
Yeah.
What I propose is that there's massive crossovers between all the characters in all the games.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Well, and then you're
Sort
on
of
Monday
Crisis
Night
on
Dungeon Fight.
On the
Infinite
29th,
Earths,
yeah.
Yeah,
if you
next
will.
2 Mondays from now.
Yeah.
Mike, you and Mac were on Dungeon Fight the previous week. Mac
Correct.
won, and then I was on the one before that, and I won. Have you done Dungeon Fight yet?
I have not.
You should do it, and so should you. It's so much fun. So okay, enough
Yes.
Inspector
Okay, all right.
Bottoms, as they would say in
Saving
the UK.
throw is awesome.
We are great. Okay. So, having defeated the Whisper Gestalt, the ship is no longer like trying to ram itself slowly into yours. If anyone wants to make a grace or intellect spread to try and figure out why that was happening, you can. Otherwise, we can move on. But basically, like, the Whisper Gestalt was clearly trying to draw those of you who have the chant in you to them, and also was trying to pull at the shard.
Right.
But now that you've destroyed it, wherever the other shard is in this place is now like the strongest emanating force. So you're sort of being drawn back against that directionally.
Okay, I'm gonna get my shard from the mechanism and just kind of lift it in the air and see which way it's pulling.
We know where it's pulling.
It's much lighter than it was before too. It's like much less. The Whisper Crystal was a significantly more powerful force, but it's definitely drawing you now like towards the middle of the ship and the front of the ship.
Okay. Let's go. I mean, now you have me doing it.
Right? It's contagious.
It's worse than the chant.
Is there an affliction card for accents?
Yes. Accent fliction. Keith, get on that. We'll do accent fliction cards. Anyway, so does anyone want to figure out does anyone want to look into what was going on?
Sure, I'm gonna use lore. With that,
Yeah,
or
definitely.
observation. Okay, so that gives me +5 plus smartest person in the room, which is another 5, and then 2, so 12. I guess I could burn some sparks, bump me up to 15.
Not for this.
All right, so 12.
Okay, you suspect that the chanters here all died because they burned themselves out. Like, for every 100 chanters, only one can become a
Sure, I
whisperer.
mean, there's only so many people on the ship anyway.
Right.
So yeah.
And so essentially the chant died here because there was no one to infect, and the Whisper Gestalt doesn't really have that much, doesn't know where it is, globally. There's no GPS.
Right.
So it just basically was trying to hope the boat ran up ashore somewhere. And so as soon as you brought humans close to it, the Whisper Gestalt was trying to push the boat at that with hopes of being able to get something. The Whisper Gestalt probably hoped that a bunch of human soldiers would bust into this room so they could make them chanters and then take over the
ship
boat.
and
But you were able to defend against that, and as a result, their plan was foiled.
High
But
fives.
yeah, so now the ship is
Death 5.
is in theory clean, but there's definitely still a shard here, and that could cause a problem.
We should find that, because if somebody else finds the ship, who knows what's gonna happen.
So you head through the corridors. It's eerily quiet now, even though there's still the same banging of items, and the boat isn't bouncing into each other again, but you can still hear clicking and banging and slapping and water and gears moving, and every now and again one of those coil lamps will spark, and you'll hear that. But it's just somehow different. You've added an eerie quiet to everything. And you end up having to head towards the front of the boat, towards the bow of the boat. And so you pass through like the workshop area, and you also pass through what appears to be like a sort of like a storage area that has weapons and all kinds of other stuff. So it's like there's like a military mustering area was also in the middle of the boat. You can take any of that if you want. You don't need it, but you can take it.
Sorry, retcon real quick. Was there any of the rum that was still intact?
Definitely.
Okay, then I'd make sure to squirrel away a bottle for the captain.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Nice of you.
The foreside of the ship is basically like administrative down here. So it's like there are charts. They're all dusty and torn and tattered and moth-eaten. There are like navigation plots where people are like moving little figures around a thing. There are like overturned cabinets full of what must have been paperwork. There is desks, and then there's stairs heading up, and the force is drawing you up.
I suppose we should head up.
A couple floors up, you reach another one of those sort of main, if you will, meeting room areas.
Also cordoned off like the ones previous?
This one is significantly more cordoned off, and until you get around to one side of it. So there are doors that are barred and whatever, and then there's basically like a section of wall that collapsed in that you and you can see there that like that's where this room was clearly breached at some point. But even in that section of wall, there's just like corpses spread out, dead, old, ancient, desiccated corpses are sort of spread out against this sort of corner of the wall where the chanters who pushed this wall down must have died in the process. And they sort of spill into the room, which has like a dusty sort of mist in it, so it's hard to see.
Okay. I'm going to use Dream Shadow to become hidden, so I flip up my cloak and I kind of go all wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey for a second. And I'm going to scout ahead.
Okay.
Just to kind of get into the room and hopefully stick to the shadows and see what's going on. So I would argue that this is observation. So that's +5, and it's also associated with scouting.
You can only use one, but you still get +5.
Well, I've got a skill specialty and a talent. Neither of these are trades.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought one was a skill
Nope,
specialty.
no.
Okay.
So my skill specialty is observation, so that's 5. Talent, quick study is scouting related, so that's another 5.
Okay, yeah, take it.
And I can use grace cards as anything else. So let's do 14.
Okay.
Do I want to do this? Would that?
Well, you can put more in that spread. Do you have any? Yeah.
Okay. So 16.
Okay. This clearly looks like it was the last stronghold on the ship.
Okay.
And there appear to be the remains of what was clearly a pitched battle here. The defenders of this room, which must have been mortal survivors, must have done very well. And you can see that like it's actually sort of like a meeting room and a sort of raised meeting stage. And on that stage you can see like there's a sealed chest, and that chest must contain what you're here for.
Okay.
But you can also see like this, it's, think like World War Z, like you can see like the sort of pile of bodies and like an arrow as they like were cut down on the way towards the chest, and they don't quite reach it. So they were like trying to get it but couldn't get there.
Okay.
However, once you get into the room, even hidden, you can feel that same pull of energy that you felt in that room upstairs.
Sorry, guys.
And you can see that some of the corpses that are in like the pile haven't entirely desiccated.
Okay.
And it's all you can do to like stop the sparks from being like pulled out of your body. But you can feel that just your proximity is enough like ambient energy for a few of these creatures to rise up. And these look sort of like chanters, but they are solo, like they're not mobs. There's 3 of them so far that have sort of come up. And they're looking around the room trying to find you, and like as soon as like while it's happening, something like one of the lights sparks, and that causes their attention, and they just start screaming and running towards it, like and basically bashing themselves up against the wall where it is. And they're saying the chant, but they're saying it like so garbled and so loudly and so carelessly that it's not infectious. It's not the same as the chanter.
It's not the newest version anyway.
Yeah. It's an old angry chant.
It's Chant 95.
That was the worst version of the
It
chant.
fails to load for one of them. They just sort of stand there for a while.
I mean, Chant Vista was terrible.
It was pretty fucking I've got my Chant subscription now, so.
But
Oh, good,
all you
good.
can sort of indicate from these things is like what's pouring off them is anger. They're just filled with so much rage, and it's actually palpable and infectious. So even hidden, you need to make a defense spread against 8, and so does everyone else. Now they're active. Everyone is basically being like rage poisoned by them. So defense spread.
Using Astonishing Luck, and that becomes a 4 and 8. So I'm good.
You don't have to because you're not there.
I'm thinking
But
about
you-
helping though.
Yeah,
maybe.
you can
Depends.
burn.
You're probably okay here, right?
I'm not okay. I've got
Okay.
a handful
You're
of
not?
2s. I've got 1 3.
Well,
Is there any?
I have a trait I can give you that'll help an awful lot.
Yeah, well, what happens is you just basically, if it applies to that trait, you can burn sparks at 2 for 1.
Yeah.
So you keep the trait and you just go.
Oh, I can
You
use this
keep it.
multiple
Yep,
times.
as long as it
Oh.
applies to that.
Oh, well then let's just here. I'm gonna burn a spark,
So that's 2.
and it counts as double basically.
Counts as 2 of the spark. So you count. So you double your sparks basically. So you get. You're already at 2 because of him. Plus 2. What is the trait?
Well, the trait is when I use this card in a spread, you may burn 1 spark to add 4 to the value of the spread.
What's the trait though?
The trait is grace. It's 1.
No, what is the name of the trait?
Oh, astonishing luck.
Astonishing luck. So you basically know, but because being lucky always works, you basically just apply trait. It's still 2. It still only counts as 2.
Oh, so it
but
doesn't
normally
count
it's
as
1.
4.
No, it
Oh,
doesn't.
okay, gotcha.
But as a result, though, you have at least now 2 on this roll, and you can probably do
Gotcha.
defensive what?
I can put together 5.
5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
You could burn one of your own. Oh no, you
Okay.
can't. But you could burn another spark to get her there.
Totally worth it.
All right, so you're fine.
Okay. Woohoo!
I've got sparks to burn. I've still got
It's
6,
this
I think.
discards.
Eerie, what do you got?
Misspent youth. I've
And
spent a lot
everybody
of
needs
time,
to draw back up, right? Cause
Yeah,
is
because
in
this is
combat.
not during combat.
Yeah,
let's see. I have to draw 2, and then
What exactly did you do when you were alive? Because you seem to have done a lot.
I mean, a lot of terrible stuff, and then murdered a guy for 1,000 years.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm sure, like a good portion of that 1,000 years wasn't murdering him though. Like, probably at least 20% of that was like trying different things. Like,
Yeah, like
hey,
Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
maybe if I just like kick over this table, this will do something.
Groundhog's
Oh, no,
Day is
didn't do
directed by
anything.
Lars von Trier.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever see the terrible movie Knockaround Guys with Vin Diesel and a bunch of other folks? where
I-
they're, like,
Yes.
young
yes.
mobsters.
I remember watching it in theaters,
Yeah.
thinking. Maybe this was just because of where I was at that point in my life, but I was like, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool, but Vin Diesel has this long speech he does where he's like, "It took a long time to get to 1,000 street fights or whatever it is." He fought like 500 guys.
Yeah.
And it's the most corny, canned, weird thing that a person would say.
Right.
And the scene's kind of cool, but it's also not. It's only cool in that Quentin Tarantino way where you can just insert speechifying into any scene, and people
Right.
are like, "Yep, this is the world we live in.
Yeah.
People talk like this."
Yeah.
But it's nowhere else in the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you memorize the like 500 street fights speech, but change it to 1,000 murders, or no, 1,000 years of murders, and give it verbatim in a future game, I will definitely make that spread work. I don't care whether you could just put a single card upside down, and then you just sort of give me the entire, like, it took a long time to get to 1,000 years of murders. When you start doing it, you learn a lesson about a murder, and then a thing. It's the dumbest speech too,
Yeah.
because he's like, halfway through, you feel differently about the murders that you're doing because you're murdering differently about the murder play, and you're watching going like, fuck you, and then punch the guy, and he does. Oh no, and then he ends it with, and the thing you learn most is, and then he just headbutts the guy, and then he wins. And you're like, really? That whole speech was to justify a headbutt? Fuck you. Anyway, if you memorize that, you can totally get a free win. I'll tell Keith too. Like if you have it by next week, you can totally use it. But you have to give us the speech. Anyway, what do you have here?
Credit to Vin for nailing it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Also, credit to Vin for being a proponent of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep,
Yes.
and famously having a whole class created for him by Matt Mercer.
Yeah.
But
Right,
discredit to Vin.
I
What's
think I
that?
might have found the video clip, but I'll watch it later.
Okay. Total discredit to Vin for the later Riddick Chronicles, which were like,
Aw.
no, but Pitch Black was so good.
Yes.
And then they were like, you know what this is? It's a weird, distorted, strange Cthulhu fantasy film. And you're like, wait, no. It was like a claustrophobic horror film with a weird, neat character. Like, nah, it's not my takeaway from that. Necromonkers, right? They were all over that.
Hey, Carl Urban's great in that.
Carl Urban's great in
Carl
everything.
Urban was in that movie.
Carl Urban, if you'd like to be on this show or have my children, please contact us.
So the first movie was Alien, and then the second movie was Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah, it's essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And the third movie was unwatched by human eyes.
We've gone off the rails, folks.
No, it happens.
I'm not sorry.
Although they do say on your stream, whenever you guys go on a weird tangent, they do hashtag Dark Sun Tangent.
Yeah, that's,
And that you should do that here as well. This
Yeah,
is a Dark Sun Tangent.
we are
Hashtag Phoenix Falling.
Phoenix falling. Yeah, we are. Today especially, our stream was just a fucking dumpster fire. It was just a nightmare. People could not stay on track. Part of that is my fault
Yeah.
because I engaged in it, and I should not do that. But it's always fun talking about. I can't think of a single topic we talked.
Yeah, what
That's
are you
how
talking
important
about?
it was.
Well, it's because you're thinking of the week before that when you went on like a 45-minute scene about removing a sword from the butt of a golem,
Yeah.
which is just, as tangents go, it's like it destroys any other memories around it.
In fairness, that all happened in game, so that was not a tangent. Technically, that's just
Okay,
a thing
sorry.
that happened in the game.
The butt stuff 45 was
Yeah.
definitely canon.
Yep. Nothing funny about
Hashtag
that.
butt stuff canon. All right, so
Oh dear.
Don't Google
Alright.
that at work.
you got it?
What did I need? 8?
You need 8.
Okay, yeah, one of those.
All right. So none of you are affected by the rage pouring off these things. So we're back into combat. So somebody should take the torch. Everyone draw up.
Wait, didn't he scout ahead?
I scattered into the room, which set these fuckers.
Okay, so it set them off. Are they coming to us or are we going
No,
to them?
They're
bumped up
trying
against
to
the wall.
find people.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are whalers, by the way. They're a different type of chanter, and they.
Bob Marley's first band.
Yes, they are. Yeah. And they're basically like looking for targets.
Okay.
But because he's seen them and none of you have, because he's seen them and because they don't know where you are, you can all act with +2, we'll say, to your first next spread. So
Okay. Since I'm in the room, can I have the torch? Thank you, Shawn. I'm going to stick to the wall and stick to the shadows and get to the one closest to me. Since I'm hidden, I get +4 with Dream Shadow.
Okay.
So +2 with your
So
bonus.
+6
everything.
total.
So +6. And then I can do. $13. Using a grace as an intellect.
okay. So 13. So they have a defense of 4.
Okay.
So it's 9.
So that's 2.
And they have health levels of 4, so that is 2 health levels. All right. They have 6 health levels each.
How many of them are there?
There are 3.
Okay.
Wow.
So I've now popped out, and I'm like, stop.
Oh yeah.
Right.
It's real effective.
But the real annoying part about these guys is that they have a speed of 1.
Oh, and I just
So
drew
they're
my
going to act
affliction,
after each one of you.
by the way.
Oh, so take a wound and either give an affliction card to one of your fellow phoenixes or kill Vesta by making her into a chanter mob.
Wait, this is gonna get ugly.
Yeah. Well, this is weirdly enough, this is the first fight you were supposed to do, and then you were supposed to fight the Whisper Gestalt after. But either
Yeah, I
way.
figured.
And then I discard this, or I keep it in my hand.
Oh, sorry. Jesus. You guys, this is the room
Yeah,
here.
where's the stuff?
It's no longer in the aft where it was originally supposed to be, but that's the room.
Shattered pews.
Shattered pews, there's a lectern, there's a patch of that sort of weird moss. What's that?
Spin it.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. The camera is weirdly the opposite now. There's a bunch more ancient corpses, which are all chanters that burned out. There's more wood punk gears and machines. There's a slow leak in this room, like sort of like a small trickle of water. And of course, there's the chant, which is unintelligible.
Okay, and I discard the affliction, right?
Yeah, discard it and draw a card.
Okay. Sorry.
You can't. He's not a valid
dead.
target.
Sorry, Vesta.
Really? That puts a chanter
Give me
in the fight.
goddamn affliction.
All right,
Yeah.
you.
Take the affliction.
Eerie.
Take the affliction T-shirt of.
Oh. And is there a way to get rid of these eventually?
Yeah, once you cleanse the shard, they'll all go away.
We gotta cleanse the shard, you guys.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, that won't work if there's not shards around. So you shouldn't be giving out that affliction to people randomly when you can, unless because there's no other way out of it. Like you
Yeah.
basically.
I thought that the card cleared it. I did
It's
not.
fair. It's fair. I see what you're talking about. Okay, so who else is? Oh, sorry. So that wasn't even their action. So once you reveal yourself, they all run over at you. Okay. They're going to make some attacks against you. You can make a defense spread against all three of them.
Okay.
And this is not an all or nothing. So whatever you can do defense spread wise.
Well, I'm going to use one of these guys.
Vesta is the human engine. He's the engineer who is traveling with them.
Why did we bring her?
She was super useful in versions of this game you didn't play.
Because she reminds me of my mother!
Fair enough. Fair
Her
enough.
name's Martha.
Oh, my mother's named Martha too.
My mother is also named Martha.
Everyone's mother's named
So
Martha.
why are you all trying to kill her? That's what I want.
And the whaler's
so I got a
mother's named
6.
Martha.
6. Okay. You. They can't wound you, so you're fine. So you're free from the wound. However, but you're unable to draw back up. You have to make another rage defense.
Can't.
All right. So if you can't hit 8, so you are enraged. So
Okay.
that's going to add 1 to your attacks, and yes. So they're yeah. So I mean that's a great moment where they're like screaming and yelling. They're screaming the chant, which again is
Yeah.
sort of like and they're all on top of you, and you're like pushing them away, and you guys are watching him like sort of like deftly defeat them, and then it like just seems like they just push him too far, and he's like, "Get the fuck off me!" And he's just you should probably put a couple of louds in the chat, and
And it echoes throughout the whole boat, and maybe even onto the other boat. And
Yeah.
everybody on board's like,
Yeah.
move the ship away. No, so
Captain,
Actually-
I say, I think we can get all away now. As we should, yes.
the other 6 phoenixes that are on the boat, by the way, they're all like standing on the prow, like defending the boat. So you're fine.
Sure, sure.
Glad they're doing work.
I
Who we
would-
can pass the torch to?
Yeah, Beans wants it.
Beans is coming.
Yeah, Beans is fucking ready.
Beans' accent is changing to a Fargo accent now.
Oh,
Oh,
sure.
sure, yeah.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure.
Oh,
Punch
the-
you right
Look
in
at
your
these
butt.
whalers. I'm going to take these whalers out.
The Merc, you know, or
It's
the
time.
Dread, whatever.
It's time for you guys to get out of this ship. So
What do you got, Beans?
Beans is running in, picking up a pew.
All right. Cross off shattered pews and draw a card.
How
This
many
will be
of them?
brutal
3 of them?
damage.
I'm going to pick up 2 pews, and I'm going to use them like symbols to crush.
Pew
So
pew.
I'm just like, pew, pew. Yeah,
Hashtag pew pew beans.
pew, pew. And I'm picking up these pews, and I'm just going, oh, bam, on their heads. I'm going to begin with killer instincts.
All right.
'cause
Of course.
Of course. Which means that I will deal brutal damage.
Oh, you already got brutal damage from doing this, which is annoying, but sure. You can have.
I've
you
been
still
through
got-
my stack.
Yeah, all right. Brutal damage it is. And that doesn't count towards the spread, so give me more.
No, yeah. So until the end of the round, and I draw 1 card. And what did you know? Sometimes a person just has something happens in their head, and then it's like, oh.
Remember your +2 here as well, so you're already at 3. And your attendant spirit can burn
Yeah,
sparks.
I'm going to help here.
Okay.
Especially knowing that it's brutal damage.
Yeah. So I'm going to do this for 7. Yeah.
So that's 11.
Okay, we're gonna have 2 more.
All right,
15.
and I'll still count this as astonishing luck. That was a good card to have in your hand.
Right.
So this is actually 4
It's
more.
astonishing luck.
It's astonishing
Yes.
luck.
It's astonishing luck. So 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's 14 damage. So you kill that one.
With
but-
smash.
'cause that's-
Fire
wait.
pews.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep, that's it. We'll do that. Yes, that counts. I think I'm miscalculating this, but you definitely kill one.
Okay.
So you essentially clap one, and like even the like horrible ectoplasmic forces that are animating these bodies can't animate them if you've destroyed like the basic skeletal musculature that operates it. So you've pancaked it, and it basically just like you can see like its like legs are twitching, but it's essentially out of the fight, and it will never be viable again.
It will never go again.
Yeah. And you've like crushed its skull and it can't say words. So it's like, yeah,
broken teeth.
It's good. Do you want to make any more spreads?
I do.
Okay.
Oh wow.
You're going to continue doing brutal damage because of that ability you did, even though the pew is shattered in the experience.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is worth using. Why not?
Tree Frog Pisces or Pinsis. Tree Frog Pinsis? What is that? What is your username? Explain more. Says in the chat, by the way, R.I.P. my ears. Well, in this game, your ears come back at dawn and better. Ears rank 2. Okay, go. So what do you got?
I'm
Okay.
finding I have a problem with volume, and I apologize.
It's all right.
Can
I'm way worse.
Can I pick up something else?
Yeah, if you got spreads to do, what are you going to do?
Lectern.
Okay. All right, and you're going to use Tough as Nails?
And I'm using Tough as Nails, which just it removes the condition. I don't have any conditions. I just use it.
Well,
to draw
you do.
another card.
Although you don't. No, sorry. So you, you don't. So you're good.
I just use it to draw
so
another
you'll
card.
just use it as a 1. Mm-hmm. Okay, plus 4 more. You're not
Plus
gonna,
4 more.
All right. So that's 4, 8, 9, 10,
So
11,
I pick
12.
up a pew and wait, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
I pick up this pew and I
Lectern.
use it like this lectern. Sorry, you're right. I pick up this lectern and I use it like a battering ram and I say, "You need to get yourself some church." And I go, whoosh, into the next one.
All right. Unless that's more than 10, in which case give it to Shawn. And draw a card from using the lectern.
Nice.
So that's going to be, what do we say? It's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 10, 5, 1, 2, 3. So you do a significant amount of damage to that remaining one. All
And
right.
now I'm done. But I'm going
Okay.
to end it with the statement. Yeah, it'll teach you to be more polite.
Okay. They act at the end of your round. That's a defense for both of you. This is a defense. This is a not an all or nothing regular defense action against physical attacks. You and Mike and Teline make defense spreads.
I can't.
Oh, draw back up to 5 before you do, but then make a defense spread. You can't.
Oh.
Okay. So take a wound from that affliction.
Okay,
and-
I have this ability that I have not been using
What does it do?
stupidly, which is that as I am injured, I can burn 2 sparks to negate 1 wound. Does that apply here?
If you burn 2 sparks, I'll even let you not give this affliction to somebody else. You'll hold the chant in.
Nice.
All right, so you're fine. So put that in your discard, though. It's going to come back.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're fine on that wound. But you might take 1 wound
Okay.
and lose 1 spark.
Ooh.
They draw that out of the energy out of you.
I have feelings and I don't know how to deal with them.
And can you make a defense? This is a defense spread.
Oh. Do I draw another card from that, or is I'm just down to this?
You're just from the affliction. Yes,
yeah.
you do.
Okay. And what do I have to make?
It's a defense spread. So however your
No,
combat
but what
spell-
number do I have to?
There's no target number. It's not an all or nothing.
Oh, okay.
However much
So
you
more
do.
is more.
Okay. Well, that's what I got. 5.
5? All right, so take a wound and... No, wait, you're only against 1. So take no wound, but give me 1 spark. Because it draws that out of you when it attacks. Okay, so pass torch to Chant. Because that's the option you have.
Do I draw up again, or no?
No, that was after your turn.
Oh,
Okay.
right.
All
No,
right.
we were defending. Sorry.
Checking. Just checking.
Oh, shit. And you need to make a defense spread against rage as well. Which is target number 8.
Wait. I can't.
Then you are enraged.
Which means you
Fine.
get +1 card for attack, -1 for defense.
Well, if I could use these on defense now, which normally I wouldn't be able to, right? I can
Right.
assist. Can you make 4?
I can make 4.
Because I can give you 2, and then that'll put us at 8.
Okay. Okay.
Nice.
No, I'm rage.
You remain
It's
composed.
like,
Oh, sorry. And around this time, Vestra starts going like, "You fuckers keep putting me in danger!" and like starts just grabbing objects and throwing them at random people. And she's not doing anyone any damage,
Yeah.
including the whalers. But
And
she's
she didn't even get enraged.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, she just snapped. This is completely coincidental. It has no effect on mortals. Tree frog epicness. Is that where it comes from? Oh, okay. Tree frog epicness. That does make sense. I wish you could capitalize specific letters okay. Thank you, Tree frog epicness, for continuing to play or watch along. Yes. So Vesta is now enraged, and for as little good as that does her, but she's basically slightly less controllable too. So she's wandering around the room, ranting at objects. All right, Chant, what do you got?
it's not good.
She's fine.
She'll be okay.
She'll be okay.
Take a lap.
Rub some dirt on it.
I'm gonna swing that chain around, grab someone by the neck, yank him into one of the gears, and crank it until a little head to go
The
switch.
woodwork gears.
Definitely.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's
Okay.
good. That's
Go ahead and cross off the gears and draw a card, and this will again be brutal damage.
Let's see, 4. Terrifying. Because
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
wouldn't that be
I
terrifying?
think that's justifiable.
How does that work? What does it add to you? Does it do anything beyond just giving you a draw?
I can burn a spark to stun the
Okay.
target. 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
Draw.
And is that a melee attack? It is. So flip your epitaph.
Yeah.
So what's that total now?
9.
You kill that one. And so there's only one whaler left. But they go. And so he's going to attack you. So this is a defense spread, not on all or nothing.
Small and quick.
Mm-hmm.
As good as it gets.
Please kill it.
6.
Because I have
Yep.
Six?
after all the defense.
Yeah, and burn 2 to take it to 8.
You actually can't on a defense
I
spread.
can't do it, damn it.
Doesn't really matter though because you defend against the physical damage. He'll still draw a spark off you
Okay.
as he's sort of drawing your life force into himself.
Okay. Can I counterattack?
Yes, you can.
Can I burn sparks on that?
Yes,
to
of
take it
course.
to 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. All right. You significantly damage him with your incredible speed. So you blast him with that. He's pretty well wounded. New cycle. Who's up?
Gimme!
You motherfuckers! Sorry, you're allowed to be loud. They just
Sorry.
we'll just warn them.
So with this kind of passion that he's never felt before, Ink just kind of the heavy metal strides across the ballroom, takes his stylus, and he just jams it in the fucker's head and pulls it down.
All right.
So I've got +2 for Dream Shadow, so that's +2, and we're at +2 now, or is that?
No,
gone?
you're no longer surprising them.
All right. But I have 10, so that's 12 total.
You well kill it.
Yes.
Boom. You can pull back on your rage because you've killed one, so you're fine.
Okay.
And all 3 of them are dead. You're still raging. Vesta is still raging. Oh yeah, you need to make
Wait,
rage defense.
I didn't end
Oh
up
no, you're
raging.
fine. Oh yeah, Vesta's still raging.
I
You need to make
almost
rage defense from
raged,
your defense.
and then I
can you-
remembered
can
to
you
be
defend against
polite.
8?
I can do 6.
You can do 6.
Oh, wait a minute. I can I use this and draw? Or add a second one?
I'll actually let you just use that at its power without putting another affliction out because it's the chant that's doing this to you essentially, by way.
Okay.
So yeah, so go ahead and use that as 6.
Okay, then yeah, 8.
All right, so you are able to use your familiarity, the fact that you've been touched by the chant, to protect yourself. So the only one raging is Vesta, who actually needs to be restrained. Now you have the locked chest there, and you can hear like the sparks that they've been pulling off you have been sort of like distributing out to whalers amongst the ship. So you can hear screaming and yelling and banging against walls throughout the halls of the ship. The shard remains in the locked chest, and then what are you gonna do?
I feel we have to get this and leave. If we can get it back to Pyre, we can destroy it there. Lord knows, gods know, whatever. That if we can get it back to our ship, there are enough of us there that we can successfully defend it. Better than the three of us. And Kelvin, wherever you are.
You can answer through her voice if she lets.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You just have to use an accent.
Yes, please do.
All right, continue. What you saying?
What I'm saying is, obviously, whatever is in this chest is powering what evil is left on the ship. I don't know that we have another fight left in us, but if we get it off the ship, we have a chance. Eerie, Beans, are you with me?
Oh, I agree with that. I'm feeling pretty beat up myself.
Eerie. All right. I'll carry it. Let's go. So I get the chest and.
All right.
Oh
Okay,
no.
so you manage to grab the chest and you're running out. It's locked. You could break the lock and try and get the shard out.
I think I want to keep it where it is, just
Okay.
in case.
So you're maneuvering off the ship, and what we're going to do is they're basically like whalers at every turn. Okay.
Okay.
So if we'll make grace spreads to try and avoid getting into combat.
Okay.
The target number is 20, but you can make them collectively. So, but it's a 3-card spread. So contribute amongst the hands you have. Can you guys make a grace spread of 20? Otherwise, you're going to take either wounds or a fight from chanters, from whalers, depending on how well you do.
I can do 10.
Okay.
I can do 0. I've got 1 card.
Well, you can draw it now the combat's over.
Now the combat's over?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just take a wound
Can I?
and hand that to somebody else. Or yeah, sure. Give me 2 sparks.
Yeah, I can maybe draw into it.
Well, and actually, wait, shit, one of them's a trait. So does that count?
What trait is it?
Untouchable.
Yeah, sure. Then it won't count towards it, and you can draw if it's helpful.
All right, so there's 10.
Okay.
10 plus 2 more cards from the 2 of you.
Okay, I can't do any
2
more
total?
2 total cards into that spread. Yeah.
Can I blur motion?
Yes, but so that won't count, and you can draw a card. So still 2 cards away.
What?
That's
How?
10,
how
11, 12.
That's 12.
Mm-hmm.
This adds 3 to any wingman spread.
Wingmate spread? Does it say
Wingmate.
wingman? To your wingman. Goose! Take 3!
Hey, man. No, man. Go talk to that girl. It's fine. It's fine.
You're definitely cool. That's great. So you still have 2 cards left. So that's 5. You draw 2 cards from Blur Motion. I forgot because it's a 2. 5 plus 10 is 15. You're 5 away. Can anyone put 5 in? And you still have 2 cards left. All right, you're fine. You avoid the first interaction with them.
The first one.
And now you're going to do that one more time. Yeah, take your cards back, everybody. So discard those, draw up, you're fine. Mind you, the more drawing you do, the more chance you have of pulling your affliction cards, too. So you might die from...
It's very true. Are we still aiming for 20?
Yeah, it's still 20. At least 1 more. Nail this one, and maybe you'll get it out.
This is very tricky. This is very tricky.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got? Did you draw up, Chant? You did, yes.
Yeah. I've got Survivor.
Sure, I'll let you play that in.
I've been chased through halls before.
Okay.
Very specific.
seen this before.
Yep. I mean, you literally just saw it
Yep.
moments ago.
So that adds +3.
All right, so that is 4, and you still have 3 cards in that spread.
Okay.
I mean, we need some traits otherwise. So.
Yeah.
I've got smartest person in the room, but I don't think that's going to work here.
I'll let you apply it if you. Well, how? Like, how do you use intelligence to
Well,
avoid these?
because this is now my 3rd encounter with the dread.
Yeah.
And since we've been dealing with the whalers, especially, you know, Ink's a pretty quick learner. He's like, no. What we're gonna do is this, and they're gonna go that way, and then bam.
Okay.
What you gotta do is
Okay.
throw
Take
a
it.
rock
Okay.
over in that direction, and they hear bang, bang,
Exactly.
bang.
So there's 5, so that's 8, 9,
I can,
Alright.
and then we still have 3 grace cards
Yeah.
on top of
I
that.
can put in this 4.
Okay.
So that's 13.
Nice.
Nice.
Bam.
Okay.
All right. You're 1 step ahead of them. You basically managed to make it to the edge of the ship. Now at this point, you have 2 choices. You can like sort of dive off the ship and try and like get the chest on board, or you can engage the one last whaler who has sort of like managed to get in between the 2 of you.
I'm personally for diving off the ship,
I
Alright.
don't know.
says Mr. One Wound.
Fight that motherfucker.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Well, you can make if you make a 15 grace spread, you can cross the other ship. They have separated a little bit since you've been gone, so make a 15, and you can go ahead.
Well,
and,
but you want to fight him, right?
I'd rather fight him. I'm not big on the grace.
All right.
I'm big
I mean,
on the
all
sword
right.
fight.
Okay.
Oh, do we each have to make a 15 grace spread?
if you want to jump, if you don't want to jump,
Let's
then
take him out.
Take him out.
Let's take him out.
Yeah,
Okay. I'll make the chest an environmental object. If you want to use it in an attack, Mike, you can do that. You have that, but only you have access to it because it's on you.
Is there like rope and such around?
There's rope and sure. Call them and I'll let you use them. So,
Rope and such.
rope and such, which is also your
love
side
that store.
business. Yeah. The best part is the and such. Mm-hmm. All right, so go. Someone take the torch because one of you gets to act
Here.
first.
Go for it,
Okay.
Beans. What lovely accent we have this time.
Ooh, that feels racist already.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Nothing.
What?
Surfer.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Okay.
say Southern California.
Surfer, Southern
Okay.
California. Hey, dude, what are you doing up in here? It's time for you to get tied up with something. So pick up the rope and such.
Okay, pick up the rope and such.
It's got like some such, like it's got like heavy tackle on the end. So I'm gonna
Yes.
spin it around my head cowboy style
Perfect.
and whip it around the guy.
Yep.
And then it's gonna like whip around him. And then the heavy thing at the end is gonna hit him in the face. Like a begin with crude but effective.
Damn straight.
Yep.
All right,
This card has a value of 5 when it is used in an attack spread.
and draw a card. And draw another card from using an environmental object.
Sweet.
So what's the rest of your spread?
Hang on, let me see. Well, let's do this. Valiant, because I led this freaking charge.
Sure.
When you use this attack on a spread, your current health levels of 3, add to the value.
So it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Mm-hmm. Okay. You still have however many 2 cards put in that.
Mm-hmm. So 9 plus 8.
Wow. 17. Shit.
All right. Wow. Okay. So
And this is still using the chain?
it's almost
whipping around him.
out. It still attacks you back because it has a speed of 1.
Sure.
So go ahead and draw back up to 5. All right. Thank goodness it's you getting these because
Yeah,
you can
seriously.
prevent the
Yeah.
chant blasts.
We should remember that next time. we're
Next
at the
time,
party
I
with
wish
you.
that I had realized it from the beginning, except that I'd be out of
Um,
spark by now.
All right. So
Oh wait, I just put those back here. That was super dumb.
You're fired.
Let's go over here. And do I get to draw back up before this?
yeah, you do because your turn ends before it attacks.
Okay.
So make a defense spread. This is not an all or nothing. This is just the defense spread. What do you got?
What? what is he attacking me with? Because this removes conditions.
Well.
But that would be after the fact, right?
Yeah, which would be enraged if you.
Okay,
if
so I'll just do this.
Okay, so 7. Mm-hmm. So he'll draw a spark off you, but you won't take any damage. Which you can, is waking up more whalers somewhere in the ship.
We're not gonna be on the ship.
And now you can, if you want, you can make a defense spread against being enraged, which is value 8. So if you can't hit 8, just be enraged.
I'm just gonna be enraged.
Okay, you are enraged.
Next, wait, I gotta do it in the surfer. I gotta be an enraged surfer.
Oh yeah, this is the kind of challenge that we live for in this show.
So take that, dude. This is totally gnarly, and you need to lay off my friends.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
A+. All right, who's taking the torch? This thing is close to death.
I'll take it.
All right.
So he's tied with a rope that had been
It
sort of
wraps
lashed
around.
around him.
It's immobilized too, so it can't move. So I'll give you +2 against it.
Hit in the face.
Yeah, right. I'm just gonna run up to it, flip over him, grab his neck, and try and just basically just rip his head off.
Perfect.
Naturally.
Yeah.
That's
Of course. What else would you do?
It's kind of obvious.
I mean, come
The
on.
thing
now.
that we were all thinking.
7, 9, 12.
Yep, that'll kill him. You managed to yank its head off. A bunch of mortals are up on the deck of the ship. And they're like, and, so you've definitely.
Yeah. Hey, get your babies out of here. We don't want any of your babies to see this.
All right, so wow, that cramped my leg. That impression. All right, I'm okay. All right, ouch. That's never happened to me. I'm so old now. And so you managed to make it on board the ship. The remaining phoenixes there all agree that you need to cleanse the shards. Someone uses their talent to break open the box. They're all going to add some phoenix fire to it. Does anyone want to add more to it? Which will you need to reach a certain target number to cleanse the shard.
Is there a limit on number of cards?
No, it's not cards. It's sparks.
Sparks.
That's 3.
Wait, how
I got
close
2
are we?
more.
All right.
All right, so Kelvin's gone, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So that's
Bye, Kelvin.
and that's
Wait,
actually
hold on.
10 because it's your
Later,
last spark.
dude. See you at the flame.
See you, bro.
Wait, what is it called?
The flame.
Okay, good. I got it right. See you later, dude.
See you, bro.
Reach you at the flame.
So that's 10 from you.
Good
all,
lean
because
pyre,
it means it's
bro.
10 if you use your last one. Do you want to donate any? Do you want to donate? If you donate your last 3, that will be 13 because you get 10 for burning out to do it.
Oh, wow.
Well, okay. We're at the end of the session
yeah.
anyway, so why not?
All right.
Blaze of glory, dudes.
It's not hard to convince characters to kill themselves in this
No.
game.
Yeah.
It's like a bonfire on Zuma.
Nah, man. I'm not doing that again.
All right.
You gotta go
but
You've
for
already
it.
been there.
When you see the big
7.
wave.
7. All right. You guys managed to cleanse the shard. The shard is reduced to a vaguely magical but non-infectious object. All the whalers on board the ship drop dead, and the ship is reclaimable.
Important question. When all of my shards go, do I just sort of wither down?
Yeah,
Your sparks,
you
yeah.
actually explode
I
out.
explode.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
grab the shard and then basically turn to ash.
Then I'm like, but I also have to say before I explode, gnarly!
Oh, I can't give you any more sparks. You're dead.
Yeah.
All right.
Whoosh!
What's
All
the
right.
name of that ship?
The fragments of my
What's the
body.
name of that ship?
You never learned the name of that ship.
Settle down on
what
some
does Chant
wolves.
want to name that ship?
Yeah.
And Chat,
Cat ship.
you have to give it a full sentence name that you can reduce to 2 words. That's how Wisteria ships are named. So the Serpent of Winter is the serpent that eats the snake that enjoys his time and finds a place and buys a winter home, and then you reduce it to Serpent of Winter.
Okay.
I will get you the Serpent of Winter's actual name just because why not?
Yes, please.
But the Serpent of Winter's name is
Bob.
Bob, which we shorten to Serpent of Winter.
I mean, technically it's Bob.
So many O's.
When you have that many O's, doesn't it become boo?
Its formal story name is Alifar's Fine Wind Serpent, Won Over Winter with a Hand of 4 Kings. That is its full name, and then it is reduced to the Serpent of Winter, or Winter Serpent.
Obviously.
Duh.
That makes sense. That just makes sense.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
So you managed to cleanse the shard and also recapture the ship, because now that you've removed the shard in play, all the chant on the ship is gone. The captain is beside herself. I think it's her now that I think about it. I think we established it was a woman before.
She was an Irish woman. It's
yeah,
fine.
the Irish, the deep-throated Irish woman is beside herself, and she realized that like this is a piece of their history. So yet more heroism goes down to your wing. The remaining phoenixes help cleanse the ship, like remove the bodies from the ship and everything else, and then you basically move it, like sort of tow it / tandem steer it back to Pyre, where you get like several days later. Meanwhile, the two of you come back in that morning.
And we totally high five until these guys show up. It's just like continuous high
Until they
five.
show up.
Sabotage,
Yeah.
please.
Lots of different varieties
Okay,
of high
hold
five.
on, hold on.
High
Let's real quick. Let's just reenact the first minute of that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. What? Doing it. Okay, that's enough.
I'm committed to this bit.
Totally killed it. Okay, that's my
Boy,
hair.
I would have done that until Sax told me not
No,
to.
I enjoyed it. Boat name potentials: the bird that killed all the monsters before it was immolated and then rose again from the ashes, reborn. Seems a little bit on note that it's named after your wing and you didn't name it.
What a
What's your name?
coincidence.
The long journey to the mountain where you hunt the charging elk, and it would be called Charging Journey. I like that. Squirrel monkey, you get it. So it is the long journey to the mountain where you hunt the charging elk. Bill's friend or something. It's got all kinds of other random crap. Well, yeah.
I'm going to get a bucket of paint.
Yeah.
The captain. I'm going to cross out the name and I'm going to write shit together. It's no SS, shit together.
All right. Sounds good. And Boney McBoatface was the one the chat voted for, but doesn't get. Mirroring Life.
Boney, what?
No, Boney
Boney
McBoatface.
McBoatface.
Bodie
They
McBoatface
tried to-
is a great name.
They tried to name that other boat that, and then they named it after David Attenborough, who I also enjoy. But yes, so it's the Boney McBoatface / David Attenborough / the guy who chased the monkey up the mountain and then ate the elk. I forget now. Mountain elk.
It's known by many names.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to the
and
locals, Bodie McBoatface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charging Journey. It's the Charging Journey.
The townies call it Bodie McBoatface. Yeah. I reckon.
So you return home, conquering heroes, where suddenly something impressive happens vis-a-vis late next week with Keith Baker. But we need to get to level both of you up, which is really
Yeah.
Hold on,
fantastic.
guys.
Because
Oh,
also-
wait, you
Yeah.
phoenix the fuck out of that fuck.
Damn straight. Good job. You did exactly what you're supposed to in this game. You died.
Yeah.
Let me grab.
And you can have this affliction back.
Yeah, right?
So, thank you. So weirdly, you, thank you. Yes, you clear all these afflictions. If anyone's got any afflictions, we'll take them. So first off, you gain the Talon Bastion because you, that's the Talon that we have left.
Okay.
By the way, the princess's name, the child princess in a Neverending Story, because he's like, is Moonchild. Her name is Moonchild.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Which is also the name of a novel by Aleister Crowley, which reads like Harry Potter fanfic.
Weird.
I know lots of weird things. Everybody give me chips and sparks and whatnot, and I'll start sorting those out.
I deliberately.
Thank you, Charlie.
No problem.
Very well done.
I
sir.
love these chips. They're so heavy.
It's my first time playing this game.
I know.
This is a fun game.
Yeah, it
I
is a
like
fun
this
game.
game.
If there was a Casbah, you rocked it.
Yeah.
Focus carbon shot by an attack to double your endurance against the attack. To flip this at the end of the scene. Okay, cool.
Sam, what'd you think?
What happened?
I accept that answer.
So this deck becomes the character sheet then.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty clever, really.
Very cool.
You're going to advance as an elemental because you died for duty, which makes sense. So you can pick one of the two of those. And you're going to advance in the devoted track because you died for others, sacrificing yourself at the end. So you get to pick one of the two of those. There's only 2 left because other ones of that
Everyone's
school
devoted.
have moved on. I think Tara has the others, so you pick one or two of those. And then I believe because, one second here. So it's good that these exist because, oh wait, pile. This is our first, so which one did you take?
Radiant Blood. Whenever you're injured, you regain 2 sparks for each wound you suffer. Regain 1 spark every time you draw an affliction.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And let me get. Okay, so you can remove 1 card from your deck.
Oh, this is so awesome. It has to be this one.
Removing that one.
What's up,
Okay,
Beans?
so that's gone.
In addition, any member of your wing can send the wing a short telepathic message.
Ooh,
What?
that's tasty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
So we actually are operating with 2 full sets of this game, which is kind of insane. Oh, so that's going to have to go in there. I'm going to actually have to crack open this second set to get your cards because that's the only way you can operate with more than 4. Basically, the game is designed for 4 players, right? So you.
Since you're creating characters.
We're breaking the game!
Do I get to remove a card from my deck?
You don't, because that's a rank 3 thing,
Oh,
and you're going
sorry.
up to rank 2.
I didn't even realize.
How dare you?
Lame.
How dare you, never having played this
I'm
game
terrible
before, not
at
being
this.
intimately familiar with the rules of leveling up.
Guys, I have to apologize for being so bad at this game.
Yeah, man.
Apology accepted.
Thank you.
High five over it.
Here we go.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, I ripped my microphone off. Like,
5 is okay.
All right, unless there's more of these, and I don't know where they are. Hold on a second here. So you get, yes, one of those. So because you're a rank 3, you also get a new trait. You get to pick one of the 2 traits from the relevant school at that rank.
Okay.
And so you get one of that, and it just happens to be your current school, so it's easier for you there. And then I need to figure out where I put the stack of regular cards here. So do you want grace or strength to add your deck? Strength, okay. So you're going to get a 5 strength.
yes.
So that goes in your deck.
Brains.
You want grace or intellect? You get a 5 of one of those.
I want grace. I'm going to go with incinerate rather than consume heat.
Okay.
Incinerate is when you use this card in a spread, draw 1 card. When you use it in an attack spread, you may burn any number of sparks up to half your rank, round up, so I'd be able to burn 2 sparks. Add 3 to your attack for each spark. So I can burn 2 sparks to add 6 to my attack.
Nice.
That is not bad.
Very happy with that.
And you both gain sparks as a result also, so you also have more sparks than you did before, but that's not relevant because we're not playing with those right now. We still have 2 rerolls for coming up, for our 2 redraws coming up next week.
Nice.
So that
Nice.
is Kickstater Campaign. It was a surprisingly weirdly intimate adventure because of how the boat made it. I hope both of you can come in when we have like a wide open combat field for you to play with. 'cause
Like
it's
a
lot
rooftop.
more- Like a rooftop. That was a good fight.
Yeah.
And next week, I believe Keith, don't quote me on this, is going to take us into the Grimwald, where you are going to be sent for a mission, which just so happens to line up with Varya's backstory. So we might have a
Oh, wow.
Varya game. Next week, Keith will be running. I'll be playing Kelvin, and then we'll have Tara. Sorry, we'll have Tara and Mac and Chant back with us. Mike is off next week.
Sorry.
But he'll be back soon. We'll have a lot of the cool folks that you know from Saving Throw on the show as seats open up. Either playing the specific 6, either playing, either coming in as Beans or Kelvin, or coming in as guests from other wings. You can always, of course, donate to the stream. And starting the week after next, finally, I will implement the policy where you guys that are donors on our Patreon can influence the actions of the rival wing and sort of play those moral decisions against the this wing's choices, so we can see who's doing better there. And then also, we're going to introduce new donation levels in 2 weeks that allow you to flare these phoenixes, which gives them special combat powers, or the negative equivalent, which is always a story-based power. So essentially, you can give them like tantrums, depressive episodes, or make them sad. So yeah. So that's this game. We're going to end a little early today, which is good news, because why not? We got lives and shit.
Lives and shit.
Thanks for watching Phoenix Dawn Command, the game where you die to level up. We are part of the Saving Throw family. There's shows most nights, 5 nights a week, 7 shows, 5 nights a week.
Yeah, oh my God, so many shows now.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, each of them is good.
All
Yeah.
high quality shows.
Yeah, you know, and I would tell you if they weren't.
Yeah,
I would have no problem.
Totally would.
There are people that I would love to throw under the bus, who I would describe as friends, but I also just would have no problem trashing their work. So,
It's
but
good
here's
to
the
know.
thing.
Defense is
But
up.
here's the thing. Defense is up. But here's the thing. It's all good. So don't worry. And I've told them. I said, hey, your show, doing its work.
Pro tip, if you're going to play Phoenix Dawn Command, don't seal your phone in the box. You need your phone for later.
That feels like a cross-platform tip too.
Yeah.
Other games, I think that tip would
Yeah.
help for.
In fact, it's really a good idea just to keep your phone on you and not seal it in any box for any reason, especially unless you're like retiring it.
Yeah.
Where can people see more of your work going around, Michael Holmes?
Well, this is kind of my primary creative thing right now, but I do have a recommendation, a pop culture recommendation. Like Stranger Things, done with the 8 episodes, have that kind of Stranger Things hole in your life. I recommend the Canadian movie Beyond the Black Rainbow. It's very Cronenbergy with a little bit of Tron and one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard.
You can follow me on Twitter at Mrs. Hongraham. That is my social media presence. If you want to see me do things other than Saving Throw Show, you need to be a physical human being with a body in LA to see live comedy. And if you aren't that type of a person, then you're not going to get to see me. So I do storytelling and improv here in LA.
Teline or Chant? Check.
Go ahead.
Doesn't have to be a
You
circle.
pointed at
Take
him.
the torch,
I
take
said
the
my
torch.
nudge.
Hey, Teline, pick one of the two of you.
You can be you.
Oh, so selfless.
There you go.
There's the Science Jerks podcast. Go find that on iTunes or wherever you get your business. Knowing is Half the Podcast, which is a G.I. Joe recap podcast. We watch the old cartoon. Starting this week, I think, the 101 podcast debuts.
Is that about the 101 freeway? Very relatable for the rest of the country?
It is. It's entirely, we record ourselves on the 101.
Just be, so it's
mostly
like
size.
what?
It's
Right,
really
it's a lot of-
like-
Sean, that's crazy. It's about the 101 diner and specific items available at the diner, only available.
Hey,
You can only.
the 101 Diner featured in the movie Swingers.
That's true.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's actually me, Greg Jones, and Iffy Wadaway. The idea is that Greg is just going to ask the dumbest questions about race, gender, SJW business. Like this first question is, what is rape culture? And we have Erica Heidewald on, and we're just gonna do it. We're 3 funny guys, and we're going to ask all of the unfunniest questions and see how that shakes out.
Wow.
It's doomed.
Ballsy. That is
Have
ballsy.
fun following that.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. That's the 101 podcast.
Yes.
Cool.
You can follow me at Teline Made This on Twitter, where I am making an attempt to tell more funny jokes. A lot of them are about my dog. Callback. Huge callback.
Yes, and also something.
Good job.
Yeah.
I'm the king of improv.
Yeah. I want to recommend that people watch old TV shows. I am watching The Dick Van Dyke Show, and it is freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like really dated though. They say some stuff about gender that helps you see that like there's been progress.
That's good. Yeah, it's a learning experience. It
Yeah.
helps you understand the world is better. Also, look forward to a few months from now when Teline is on her porch with a shotgun. And none of us are allowed to play with
I'm
her.
sorry. That was a few months ago.
Oh, okay, sorry. I get time confused. I'll just give you a recommendation. I have all kinds of stuff. I've also been guest hosting on Geek and Sundry, which is fantastic. Erica Ishii has 2 shows on Geek and Sundry, which I occasionally guest host with. But even if I didn't, Erica Ishii is like unbelievably consumable media.
Yeah.
She has a Wednesday and Friday show with them on Geek and Sundry's Twitch stream. But also the Sci-Fi Channel show Dark Matter. If anyone is not watching that, it's so good. Like a Canadian sci-fi hybrid show. It's half science fiction, half Canada. What's this Dark Matter about, eh? Warp drive? So...
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I mean, since we're all, talking about things that we like that are very nerdy and fit very well into nerd culture, I'm going to pitch, you should watch a show called Longmire. That is a show that really fits well into geek culture.
Yes.
Really dovetails nicely with what you're talking about.
Starbuck is in it.
Exactly. There's the justification.
I follow
There's
her
how
on Twitter, which makes me feel like we're friends.
Yeah, if you want to feel like you're friends with somebody, then follow them.
It's basically the same thing.
Physically, as I mentioned in our last show, anybody that you like, follow them.
Also, sidebar real quick, I think my first article for Geek and Sundry will be coming out later this week.
Oh, congratulations.
So,
Nice.
Cool.
If I passed all my edits, yes.
Oh, yeah. It's harder than you think, but you'll get there.
Yeah,
trust me.
sure.
We both write for Geek and Sundry. There's a lot of great content there. Actually, Geek and Sundry, I'm going to be doing a, behind the DM screen from this game, which is kind of cool. They've asked me to do that. So you'll be able to see how I created the various games we did and what I was thinking during all the times with clips back to this show, so you can watch it again, which clearly you want to do. But also, we just did an article on 5-board diceless RPGs.
Which I linked with my article. So.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
They call that synergy.
Exactly.
Or incest.
Okay, Synergy, we're ready to go.
Okay,
All right,
all right. Listen, guys, cousin marriage is one of the most common forms of marriage in the world. I'm just so sick of people trashing it, all right? I'm just saying it's not that weird.
Hashtag no cousin shaming.
Exactly, thank
Broadcasting
you.
live from the deck of the Charging Journey. This is,
No.
Oh, sorry, of the Shit Together.
Shit together.
USS Shit Together. Hashtag USS Shit Together. Hashtag, what is it, nom nom, pew pew.
Pew pew lectern.
Pew pew beans.
Pew pew beans.
Pew pew
Pew beans, hashtag USS Shit Together. Like, get them trending by next week. I'm Sax Carr, your Marshall. This has been Phoenix Dawn Command. Goodbye.
Cue sexy sax man.
Thank you.
Bye.